It is now 85 seconds to midnight. 85 seconds to midnight. "85 seconds to midnight."
On foot.
85 seconds to midnight.
Oh, hello. Just finishing my new book.
You're a careful
Fine,
reader. It looks like you've never opened it before. None of the pages are marked or anything.
I like to take care of things I value, Brian. Yeah.
So you don't value your fingers.
Well, hang on. What was that? 1 minute, 5 seconds. Thank you very much.
No, it was only 4 because you've only got 4 fingers to count on.
Shocking. Welcome to the Preppers Fireside. This is your Preppers Fireside. Don't ask any questions and we'll just bugger off. It's as simple as that. Whether you tuned in through Brian's channel, Alan's channel, or my channel, feel free to get your questions in there. Anything about prepping, anything prepping related, about the current events with regards to prepping, even the simplest questions that you might just want the answer to. We might have had experience with it, or one of us here might have done, or you can direct it direct to the panel. Use capitals, use a question mark. You have the option of a super chat on all of our channels, I think, now, Alan. You can have super chat on yours now, Alan?
I can, yeah.
There we go. Super
if anybody wants to do that, I'd be happy with that.
He'll be so excited if you super chat on Alan's channel. No, you can use the super chat because that automatically stars the question for me. Otherwise, it's me just looking through blindly trying to highlight the questions. And Brian will tell you how difficult that could be while maintaining a conversation. So, with that said, despite the world falling apart, Brian, how are you today?
Good. I'm all intact and everything. Feeling a lot better than Friday. I felt like shite. So yeah, all is good. All is well.
Excellent. And Alan, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
I'm ignoring you.
Got a few days off work, so that's always good for me.
Excellent. Got any camping planned in them few days off? I'm just changing Brian's name because he got it wrong.
No actual camping, but I've got some other videos that I'm doing. I'm currently wrecking my best jacket.
Oh, excellent! I'm looking forward to that one. And John, the Welsh prepper, joining us from the new location. John, how's the move gone?
It's gone very well. I got a massive shed now, and I've made a false wall in it, and I've put all my preps in it, and I've spent the day building a tower for my totes so I can slide them in and out. I'm loving life, and I've had 10 days holiday, and back to work tomorrow.
These bloody civil servants, they barely work as it is, do they? Yeah? Honestly, it's shocking.
Can't help but notice you had all your fingers, John.
I don't. Yeah, look, all of them.
Look, could be a hand model with fingers like those. Where's the other one?
Uh-huh. See, there we go.
The sleight of hand literally is amazing.
David Blaine has nothing on me. Right, yeah. Don't forget, questions in capitals, all for the lads. Yep, appreciate that, Miss Worm. And for anyone who didn't know, I will plug it anyway. This is Miss Worm's book.
Oh,
I'll be honest, I didn't buy it. Gazmad Kilt bought it me from the channel. It was on my wish list, so he did buy it for me. So even if I don't get through it, the missus has already eyed it, so she'll be reading it, no doubt, as well.
That's a proper book, isn't it?
It's a proper book, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's not no A5 thing.
No. It's a big one. She likes them big. Thoughts on Coventry being promoted to the Premier League? It was inevitable once Sunderland weren't there to stop them, but thank you, Marty. We've not got a ream of questions from Phil at the start, so I've got to go through and star these ready. Okay. So we'll start with, hi, Brian. like, because this is Brian's fucking channel. We're just extras now.
Yeah.
He gets more views than me. He gets more people coming through than me. He gets all the super chats and the middle-aged women swooning. I'm just here for goddamn sure. Anyway, sorry. Hi, Brian. Question. I have an Anker 521 power bank. Am I limited to what applications I can connect? Thanks.
Yes. So that's one of the older ones. One of the early Ankers. It's a kind of small to medium-sized power bank. It's got about 500 watt hours battery, and it's about a 500 watt power bank. I'm just running from memory. So if you exceed the 500 watts of draw, then it'll cut out. It'll just trip, basically. So you're not going to run a kettle off it or anything like that, or a toaster, high induction loads, anything like that. So charging phones, running a TV, it would basically run probably a television for about 3.5, 4 hours, something like that, or a CPAP machine for about 8 hours, just as a kind of benchmark.
There you go. Cool. Thank you for your question. Well-known, unknown 2699. Horace Rumpole, is cider one of your 5 a day? Actually, we were talking about this last night, weren't we, Alan? Ciders could be one of the ones that you could make quite easily in SHTF.
Yeah, apparently the best ciders in the world are made in the UK. It's not one of my 5 a day because I don't like cider. And just like I says in that podcast yesterday, the closest thing I've come to making a good home brew also involved shower water. So, it's not that great.
It was like a selling point, you could buy a bottle of beer with shower water that's ran down the crack at it anyway.
I did used to make my own home brew, but it is so water intensive. I mean, genuinely, you probably got to use about 4 or 5 times as much water as you actually bottle to get everything sterile. It's not worth it, really. If it's SHTF, I'd probably make it, but not just
if it was long-term SHTF and we're trying to rebuild and you needed a drink, then the options would be there at least.
Yeah, I mean, homebrew's actually got some advantages. It's always been noted that back in the day, people drank more beer than they did water, and it used to be said that the reason they did that was because the beer was safer than the water.
Yeah,
because beer is a relatively sterile product because it has to go through a sterilization process almost in order to be made, whereas water, back in the Middle Ages or in some parts of England, you wouldn't want to go near it. I think that's a bit of a myth, but half true. So
if I bring nothing but beer on our trip, Alan, then that would be authentic, is what you're saying?
Yes, I mean that's generally what I do as well. So between the two.
I'll bring the champagne. I was going to invite you around for a champagne at my accommodation.
Sorry, there's no butlers on our camping trip. Sorry,
you're the butler.
Yeah, I'm the butler.
Yeah.
1 or 2.
Thing is, apple trees are pretty easy to grow, and they grow lots and lots of apples. Anybody with an apple tree in their garden will know that they have a garden covered in apples at a certain time of year. So if you've got the means to turn it into cider, then that's a great way of long-term storage. Because
why do you think the first tree I've bought is an apple tree?
And as I say, I have brewed my own beer before, and it's relatively easy. I know a friend of mine tried to make wine, and on his sort of 9th attempt, he just gave up. He said it was so difficult.
I think it's getting the mix right with wine, right? It can become out very vinegary kind of thing. That's the issue. Brian, you don't drink, but you're a disgusting, horrible crackhead Pepsi addict. What's your plan when that supply runs out? We're talking about brewing our own. Have you looked at brewing your own Pepsi? We talked about that cola herb the other day.
If I run out of Pepsi in a disaster, I would probably assume the fetal position on the floor and cry for a bit. It's probably how it's going to go, if I'm honest.
Is it just going to be a cold?
I do drink, just very rarely. Once, twice a year tops. In fact, do you know the last time I had any alcohol? The Scottish Peppermint last year.
That's knew it's going to be.
That was it.
Good times.
That's my mission. Get Brian drunk on champagne at the Scottish Peppermint this year.
So look,
I'm not drinking anywhere near you in Vaseline.
I'm not sure whose channels it's on. It's one of your channels. Andy Walker sent a £3 super sticker. So
Thanks,
thank you,
Andy. Much appreciated, buddy.
There you go. I knew it'd be Brian. It's just
Listen, just calm down there, fingers. Okay, just chill.
next week I'm going to turn off the call streaming. Ha ha. Question for
It's going
Brian.
to be mighty lonely in there with Mike on his own.
Question for Brian. A silly question. Are you able to place a power bank on its side for use in difficult spaces? It's vented, right?
Yeah, but you need to watch the vents. So
yeah,
let's do show and tell. So there's a little C300 vents are on the side. So you could lie it on its back like that, and the vents will still be there. Now heat rises obviously, so that'll be taken into account in the design phase. But I don't anticipate any problems if you've got it lying on its back like that for a couple of hours. If you're not drawing a lot of current, you should be fine.
Same with any electronics. Just don't block the fans or vents on anything. Yeah. It's just a good rule of thumb, I would say.
And they don't like water.
They survive water. What's your problem? You keep going on about it. What's your problem? Right, we've got loads of questions, and I'm so far behind. There we go. Side of 5 your day. How many fingers do you have, Mike? I have, like every normal person from the Northeast, I have 6 fingers and 6 toes on each appendage. You're all right. There you go. Thank you for the question. Is that a paper cut on your hand there, Mike? Yes, cheers. Thank you, assholes.
What did you expect?
I know. Alan, I'll give you this one. Would you recommend a Grail or Lifesaver water bottle? And if so, why?
It depends on your application. So for me personally, I go with the Grail for wilderness type individual scenarios. If I'm out in the woods as an individual, it's much easier to collect water. It's much more efficient for that purpose. It has a better form factor. The Lifesaver bottle is much the same, but it's a larger design, and it runs on a pumping system as opposed to a pressing system. So it's a little bit more tricky to use. They're basically the same though, in their form, in their application. They pretty much filter out identical stuff, and I think they hold about the same capacity of water actually, despite the fact the Lifesaver bottle is slightly larger. I did a review on the Lifesaver bottle when it first came out actually, so that's like 9 years old, that video, if anybody wants to go back and see it. Which I thought it was okay at the time, but it's not my favorite one because it uses a pump system. It's under pressure, whereas the Geopress isn't.
Yeah, you've got a Lifesaver jerry can, right, Brian? Muted.
You're on mute.
Can't hear you.
Sorry, I just was trying to avoid coughing. Yeah, it's an excellent piece of kit. It was a gift, but they are expensive. But for a family, I think it's fantastic kit. Not as portable, obviously, as the Grail, though, I would say.
No, obviously it's for more mass water. I like the Grail. Got sent to me by Taffy9, so thank you very much, Taffy. And that was was a great one.
It's always about the application. So the thing that Brian's got would be perfect for overlanding vehicles, camper vans, in your household or a larger family, things like that. The Grail and the Lifesaver bottle are there. That's a one-man band, so you're not going to be able to get as many uses out of it. So it would work out far more expensive to use a Grail the same way you would use the jerry can that Brian's got. Yeah,
definitely. Kane says, what will happen next in Iran, now that the talks have gone sideways? John, care to speculate?
Yeah, Trump is in a spot, isn't he? He's started a war of choice. He thought he'd go a very different way, and it hasn't. Iran have basically told America, fuck off, we attack us all you like, we're not going to give up. He's under a pretense that he's in control. He's now said he's going to blockade the Strait of Hormuz, and the Iranians are like, well, we're already doing that. So it's like, I'm stopping you coming through the door. No, I'm stopping you coming through the door. So it's like, it's as they would say in the military, it's a shit show. I think
I imagine his school of thought there is if they block everyone else, then the people that Iran are letting through, like China and stuff like that, will then put more pressure on Iran. I think that's the rationale behind it.
Right, which is a false rationale, because if you look at the evidence, there were 0 aircraft shot down for about 29 days, and then 5 were shot down in a day. Where are they getting those missiles from? All of a sudden, China. If they blockade the straits, who are they stopping getting oil? China. Who's the net importer of oil? China. Is it going to piss off China? Probably. So I again, Trump just has got no strategy. He's got an exit plan. He's desperately, in my humble opinion, looking for a way out that he can make it look like he's won, and it's not coming. So the Iranians are just going to tough it out. The Iranians are winning. They're not winning tactically. They're winning strategically.
Yeah,
and they'll just tough it out.
I'll go around the table on this one because it's interesting on-topic points. So, Alan, what's your thoughts on this?
I'm pretty much with John on this. Actually, I think that analysis is fairly spot on. I always thought that the whole Iran thing was part of a bigger picture that was generally against China anyway. But the thing with Iran is all they have to do is wait out. They can't go anywhere. This is always the problem when you fight countries on their home turf. Where are they going? They can't go anywhere. So it's not like they could just pick up and surrender and say yes, okay. And Iran's a special case. It might be completely destroyed from a military point of view, as in they've no navy, they've no air force, and we've destroyed most of their missiles. Yeah, but so what? All the people are still there, the ideology's still there, the regime is still there, and it hasn't got anywhere else to go. Plus, the ideology of a country like Iran, the people who are in charge, are fanatical, suicidal cults who don't care. So Trump's played chicken with a person who wants to hit the car. That's a good outcome for them. And I think America's starting to realize its own limitations here, because you can't, it's not Venezuela. You don't get to just control a whole region by bombing it from the sky. All that's doing, all the Iranians are doing are keeping their head down. Eventually the Americans will have to leave, and then suddenly they'll pop back up, and all the weapons that they buried in holes in the ground will suddenly materialize.
Yeah. Brian, can I get your 2 cents on it?
I agree with everything they've both said. What I would add to that is that Iran has had the benefit of 60 years of tuition. And by that, I mean, they've got to watch what happens anytime a large country attacks a non-peer adversary. So you've got Vietnam, you've got both Gulf Wars, you've got Afghan, Syria, Libya. Yeah, the West goes in, largely flattens and dismantles the traditional military apparatus, might even take out the leadership, but ultimately time forces them to leave, because public opinion, munitions, airframe lifetimes cycles, etc. They know, Iran knows by looking at the past, that the West always cuts and runs. It's the one thing we've been consistent in for 50, 60 years. Sooner or later, we will leave. They don't have to win the battles. They're going to lose the battles. They were never going to win them. All they have to do is survive till they get fed up and they fuck off. And that's it. Like John said earlier, they've lost the battles, but strategically, Iran has won. And to win, all they have to do is do nothing. It's really that simple.
Hold out. Yeah, definitely. Go on, John.
Yeah, just to follow up what was said earlier, is that the Western military philosophy is to value life. We try to save life. We try to preserve life. We will protect ourselves. We'll put body armor on. We will avoid going on the same route 2 days in a row when we're in combat. You know, all the thing is designed to save life. Iran, they value martyrdom. They don't give a fuck if they die. They value martyrdom. So, and we just can't get in our head. The Western military philosophy just cannot cope with it. And obviously America can't cope with it as well. They welcome it.
I remember CNN saying that, the supreme leader of Iran made a tactical error because he was out in the open. He stayed in his palace on the top floor, and then he was taken out. It's like, that wasn't an error. The guy was 84 years old. That was the best thing he could have done. He's went out in a blaze of glory. Now he's been immortalized. I mean, if you genuinely believe that death brings you to paradise, and they do believe that, that's not just You know, that's not just a fairy story. They really do believe that. The whole point is the afterlife, not the current life. And if you can die as a martyr, then even better.
Extra gold stars.
It's extra.
Do you know where they're going? It's a cloud full of cans of Pepsi, mate. That's the afterlife.
You wish.
That's hell.
So, I could just envision Brian fighting through the 74 virgins to get to the case of Pepsi at the other side.
They might all look like Susan Boyle.
That's it. The virgins for a reason.
Mike,
oh, dear.
Can you do me a favour?
No.
I deserve that.
Yeah.
Can you pull up a question from 2045? It's known capitals though, from Taylor T4694. It'll save me a lot of typing.
I'll probably
It's just under preparing the path.
This thing?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, not so. Oh, come on.
It's just a quickie. It saves me a lot of typing. If you buy solar panels that do both power banks, you're wasting money. If you buy a solar panel that works for the C100, it'll be like a 100-watt panel. That'll take ages to charge your bigger power bank, the EcoFlow one. So cheap. Simple answer, just buy one. Buy a 500-watt one from City Plumbing if they're back in stock, or the 505-watt DMAG one. And then all you do is, while you're charging the Delta 3, just plug your C300 into that and charge off that at the same time. You don't need two panels, just use the one panel. Save money.
Yeah, you can daisy chain 3 or 4. I've seen people do it with like 4 power stations, right?
Me.
Yeah. So there you go. Jump in the queue. I don't know. Anyway, let's see where I was up to. Right. Is there a fuse on a solar panel? It's not a solar live, all right? Listen to me.
No.
Ask other prepping questions too. This is not Brian's solar live. Carry on.
There's diodes on it that will pop, but there's no fuses.
Right. Okay.
You can buy inline fuses that you can fit in them, but unless it was a really long cable run, I would fuse that. But you get MC4 inline fuses if you want to fuse the MC4 cable.
Marine Mark asks, what happened to Drew Sigma Prepper? He still has a channel. I believe he was traveling abroad last time I saw. He decided to call us out on a live, so we don't really speak anymore. So you'll have to go and find him and ask yourself.
I answered that in the chat.
Did you? I didn't see your answer. I don't want to see your answer.
I said he went to Thailand and allegedly is working as a ladyboy or such.
You had to, didn't you? Had to. Keep it civil. Keep it civil. Prepped with a Pinot. There we go. I like that. Question. Sorry if it's a bit noddy. I'm new. Can preps be safely stored in a garage here in the UK? I read online that temp fluctuations are a problem. Is that true? Yes. Depends what you're storing and how you're storing it. Generally, canned goods, you only have to worry about things like damp and stuff like that. We really don't get the vast extremes that places like Canada and Arizona and places like that get, where you're getting the extreme heats. But temperature regulation is a thing. So Brian set up an air conditioning unit inside his storage during when we had a really hot summer. So there is a moderation of temperature control. Generally, if you're storing things right, in the UK, like it's warmish and it's dry, you should be all right generally. I mean, air conditioning stuff, it's fine tuning. It's not necessary really at the start. I would say if you expect water to come in your garage, just put all your cans in plastic totes and stuff like that and seal up as much as you can, protect it as much as possible. Anybody want to add anything?
I would say be wary of rodents as well. So rodents are far more likely to get into a garage or a shed than they are in your household. And it depends on what kind of garage you've got as well. So if you've got one of those ones with like a tin roof and a big window, it might become a bit of an oven in the summer. Like literally you open your door and it's like baking hot in there. And it can be equally in the wintertime, you can have condensation problems. I've got a garden shed. It's just a totally normal wooden shed with a window. But I've got problems regulating the temperature just in that shed. And even just the act of just opening the door can cause condensation in my shed, which I see on like the side of my bike and some of the storage I've got in there. So that's something I need to watch, which is why anything that can rot I've got in this room, and this is a spare room. And because it's a shed, I would also be wary about keeping food in there that isn't like in a tin, because if you just put ration packs in there, a mouse will find its way in there eventually.
Cool. Anyone else anything to add on storage?
Humidity.
Go on.
Sorry, John, on you go, mate.
No, after you, Brian.
When you start to add a few things to your preps, the value increases quite significantly, especially if you're putting anything that's mechanical or electronic in there. You've got to keep it in good condition. Now, when I built this thing, I had put an inch of insulation, and also it's 2 inches, well, nearly 2 inches thick wood, and it's got reflectives barrier on it as well. And it's got 6 75mm vents for airflow, some at the bottom, some at the top for convection. It was still hitting 22 degrees. So temperature fluctuations is toxic to wet foods, such as tins and stuff. So you could invest a lot of money, and the temper fluctuations, you could end up, by the time you open it, you've got bulging cans and stuff that's not good to you when you really need it. So you need to invest in some way to regulate it. And also then in the winter time, you need to regulate the humidity. So, and as Alan said, you need to account for little four-legged bastards chewing through your food. So best advice, keep it in the house if you can. Stick it under your bed, food, stuff like that. Find some place, put it in plastic boxes, stick it in beds, cupboards, wherever you can. Or the outbuilding, make sure it's properly kitted out for it.
Yeah. If you're not using it as a garage, you've always got the option to kind of seal that up and make it more of a controlled environment anyway.
I've seen somebody on an American prepper channel today using a wardrobe. He had a big wooden wardrobe in his spare room, and he used that as a food storage pantry. I thought that was quite a good idea, because it was just an easy way of, rather than building shelving and stuff, he literally just bought an off-the-shelf wardrobe and used that.
Yeah,
Get one of these. It shows you the temperature and the humidity, and check it. Keep checking it every other day. Keep an eye on it. Yeah, same as ours. So you need to know what's going on in there.
That's mine.
He's using the good finger.
John,
Mike,
did you have something to add?
how are you still alive, Mike? That's what I want to know. How are you still alive?
The grace of God.
Are you the only
me.
living Darwin Award recipient?
I will stumble, burn, and cut myself all the way through the apocalypse and come out shining the other end. It's fine. Cumbria last became a member of one of your two channels. I can't see which one, but it's either
Guilty.
Alan's or
You can't become a member of mine, so it's not mine.
Oh, it's obviously Brian's. And he's got the first super chat. He's got the first member.
Would you like some cheese with your wine?
Oh dear! Only if it's got maggots in it from France. French caves. That's the ones.
Italian.
Is it Italian? It's Italian. Sorry. Thank you for the question. Prepped with Pinot. Question: with what is going on at the moment, I'm thinking of purchasing an electric Super Sorco Stash 125cc. Is it still 125cc if it's electric? Anyway,
no.
With around 110-mile range, what do you think? I assume the 125cc refers to the output power, so you can use it on a 125 style license, like a learner license, because it wouldn't be 125cc if it was fully electric.
No, because cubic capacity relates to cylinder size, doesn't it? Any cylinders?
Yeah, cylinders on the engine, yeah.
Yeah, so, but
either way, dual. Is it dual?
I'm guessing he means like it's it's based on the actual power, the speed output and stuff like that, the torque and what have you. So that sounds good to me, to be fair. I looked at the One, it was called, an electric bike years ago, but they were still heavily underdeveloped at the time. But I quite like the idea of electric car. If you've got a solar setup, if everything goes to Pete Tong, fuel's going to go before the sun goes. So you're going to have a way to charge that. And if it's a smaller engine, a smaller power output like a bike, then I imagine the charging time would be a lot less. So, I mean, I think it's a good idea, to be fair.
Consider the MyRider One. It's a folding electric bike, and you can literally stick it in the boot of your car. So if you had a shit hits the fan...
Can it go like 60, 70 mile an hour like I bet this can?
No, I'll never beat that. But what it will do is it will fit in the boot of your car, and it will save you walking for 40 miles. So you could have your bug-out backpack on, which doesn't need to be the same size. The roads could be blocked, and you can pedal with your bike. And it'll be a lot cheaper, I would imagine. But, I mean, it's a trade-off. You're restricted to more paved, kind of less rugged areas, whereas the bike he's talking about will be much more suitable for getting off land and giving you a better route option.
It's they've improved a lot since I last looked at them.
I would be a little bit aware though of
quite a pretty little number, to be fair.
How much is it?
Not over that bad. Starting from 6,299.
You can get a Royal Enfield Himalayan for that, and it would be far better. But obviously,
plus that's a road bike.
Yeah.
Is that road legal?
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of electric motorcycles.
I'm just thinking for that scenario,
I think Ryan from Fort9, his YouTube channel, he did an extensive discussion about how well these kind of motorcycles perform in the real world, and he wasn't particularly enthusiastic about it, so I'd avoid it. But I can imagine that would be quite good if you're just using it for the commute, or you've got a solar setup and you're looking for an efficient way of getting back and forth. But for that kind of money, you can buy a good petrol motorcycle.
But when the pumps won't work if the power's out.
If you punch up something called a MyRider One mic and show that. When I bought mine, it was about 1,500 quid. So the sticker price is a lot less.
Oh, it's not as pretty, Brian.
It's not as pretty, but it'll fit in the boot of your car. And the other thing is as well, if you're looking on a YouTube channel called Mispronounced Adventures, he actually takes it and does the Great Glen over a couple of days. Yeah, that's it. He does it in one of them, and he's got an Anchor C1000 power bank and a folding solar panel, and he uses that to recharge on the route.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've got an electric bike which you can also use just as a normal cycle, and I recharge it off a F3 P210 using a couple of 100-watt solar panels, and it's absolutely fine. I would put a trailer on the back of it if shit hit the fan. That's my long-term plan, and as has been said in the chat, it's quiet, it's easy to recharge using a power bank and a couple of solar panels.
Excellent. Cool. Well, hopefully that's answered Cheshire Prepper, but I would be very interested if you do get it to have a look at that. That'd be awesome. When is the next book discussion? I think that was some of the best streams, a lot of great prepper wargaming. I think he means the scenarios and the stuff like that. So we want to do more. We just figured with the real SHTF happening now, you would get more value on tapping into knowledge base of other preppers. So that's why we're doing more of the Q&As. But yeah, we've got some planned, and we will do some soon. So just make sure you're subscribed and you hit the bell notification and all that wonderful stuff. And you are. How's the garden coming on, Mike? Yeah, all right. It's I've got my tree and my potatoes in. It's okay. I can't even do the okay. It's okay.
Oh, look, it's finger mouse.
What that program Finger Bobs used to be on?
That's the one. Yeah.
Finger Bobs. Yeah.
I've got some great tips when I was on Shadow Scout Swedes lives last night, and I've got a lot of stuff written down. I can only update that really on the Patreon and members area. There's no angle to film my garden from that won't give it away whereabouts I am. So I'm trying to keep it as off YouTube as possible, but I will attempt to put something together. So yeah, it's going well at the moment, and it will definitely get better. Good evening, gentlemen. Can you fucking solar? Can you parallel solar power stations? Recently purchased a Faraday 225 400 watt station. Yes, I think we just said that you could do that. Can you mix brands and stuff?
You can parallel the panels. You can't parallel the power banks. So if I think they've just mistyped, I hope so anyway. You can't parallel the power banks. It doesn't work like that. I'm pretty much convinced they mean the solar panels. Yes, you can parallel the solar panels and keep it under the maximum open circuit voltage for the power bank, and you'll have no problems at all. So over paneling is fairly common. Mike, don't be a dick.
I hadn't even noticed he'd fallen asleep. I parallel my solar panels, and you can get splitters quite cheap. You don't have to buy the F3 ones or any branded ones. You can get them on Amazon or eBay or whatever. And the 12-volt splitters with the connectors are quite cheap, and that makes it quite easy to do.
Branch connectors, but don't buy shit ones.
Branch connectors.
Buy decent ones. You can do different things like a 2 series, 2 parallel. You can do different kind of arrays, but it depends on the power bank. So for that, keep it simple. Just keep it in a parallel array.
Cool. Thank you very much for your question, Lee Beaumont. And guess what the next subject's about? Looking at getting an EcoFlow Delta 3 plus Anchor 300 for smaller item charging. What solar panel would you suggest to charge both? Thanks.
We answered that one.
Yeah.
There you go. Move on.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Let's move on. What would you suggest for a family that doesn't want to spend much money? Don't have kids. Divorce. No. I assume you're talking about prepping in general. And if you are, then ignore all the gimmicks. You know, even to the point of we talk about the Delta 3s and stuff like that. Yes, they'll be wonderful to have. But if you're on a tight budget, it's not always the option. Get the smaller options. Get the small power banks that's just going to keep your phone going and stuff like that. Yeah. But your main concentration always has to be food, water, shelter, warmth. So for me, that's my opinion. Anyone want to chirp in on this one?
Look to try and make what you're doing just now more efficient. So prepping might just be about better utilization of whatever it is you have at the moment. So do a bit of a sit rep of what your consumables are just now. How much energy do you use? How much food do you go through? How much, how often do you have the heating on, etc. And then make a spreadsheet and look to try bring that down as much as possible and give yourself a little bit of excess. And with that excess that you've saved, where you're not spending any more money, you've just saved a bit of money, but now you could spend it on maybe improving somewhere that you see a bit of a lapse in your preps. That might be in tinned food, or it might be in a small power bank or something like that. But you're not spending anymore. You're literally just sorting out your finances a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely. Now's the time to be a bit more frugal and save what you can, right? Thank you, Preparing the Path. Yamafend. Now Trump has put a blockade on the Strait of Hormuz. What happens when the Chinese come trying to sail by with a tanker? We get the popcorn out and we watch.
My money would be on America just letting them sail through because they don't want to take on China.
Yeah, it'll be stop, please stop. Now, please stop.
Please stop. We'll let you off this time.
Yeah.
Just this once.
We've come to an agreement. We've come to great productive talks, and China can now go through. It's I mean, we've done it to death, sort of thing. But he had another long-winded message on Truth-ish social, right? Didn't he? Put a huge, like, long-winded one, basically saying the talks didn't go as well. The talks went really well, like magnificent, like excellent, like wonderful, but not the nuclear side of things and stuff like that. So now his threat of fire and fury has turned into blockade, and I don't see how that affects Iran. There's no pressure on Iran apart from potentially China going, oh, please make a deal so we can get through, but they're not going to do that either.
Well, there are Iranian ships, aren't there? So, I mean, you could play the game that if Iran is saying, well, we're only going to allow the ships that we deem to be not our enemies through, then in theory, another country from maybe Oman, like America, could say, well, we're not going to let any Iranian ship through, including any ship that has an interest to Iran, you know, and that would harm their economy just as much.
But they don't care.
But he's not trying to stop the ships. This is what people are getting hung up on. That's just a byproduct. He's trying to stop the precedent. Freedom of navigation has been in the go for 80 years. So it's ironic, given that on an interview last week, he was the one that said, why should the Iranians get any money? Why don't we charge it to the victors go the spoils? Even though he butchered saying that. And then they tried to float the idea of him and Iran splitting the money. Now they've given him the fingers to that. They have to get no money. And it's back to business as usual, freedom of navigation. So he's trying to do away today with the precedent of charging for, passage, which, like I say, is ironic given the pile of shit that he came out with last week.
Yeah.
Let's just get in context. Before the straits were closed, there were 140 to 160 ships going through the strait a day. A good day now is 6.
Yeah. That's dramatic. 3 weeks off jet fuel shortages in the UK, I believe.
Yep.
So if you've got a holiday booked for 3 or 4 weeks' time on Ryanair, then you might want to reconsider. You might be getting a cancellation through.
But the thing is, a lot of those ships aren't going through the strait, not because there's somebody from Iran literally stopping them from going through. It's because those ships are self-regulating themselves not to go through because of the threat of what Iran is saying they may do, or they might mine the water. So they can't get insurance, and therefore they can't pass through that way. So it's not that Iran is physically doing stuff, because Iran doesn't own the Straits of Hormuz, because it's a joint area. Waterways, I think it's only, 12.5 nautical miles from land is what a country owns from a waterways point of view.
Yeah,
the Straits of Hormuz.
Yeah,
the Straits is what, I think it's about 24 miles wide at its sort of narrowest point. So it's also is Oman on the other side and Iran on one side. And because it's a major waterway, you're not actually supposed to be able to interfere with that. It's kind of like the English Channel. England doesn't own the English Channel. You know what I mean? It's just called the English Channel. They own it 12 miles out, just as much as France owns it kind of 12 miles that way. And the English Channel is roughly that sort of 22 miles across as well, I think. But you wouldn't really be able to prevent anybody going through that unless you were fully at war, which Iran is saying they are.
Unless the Russians send a warship with it, and our response could only be getting the HMS Victory off and trying to do a cannon broadside to the side of a ship and see what happens.
I think we wrote them a very stern letter.
Right. Oh, yes.
Yeah. That learned them.
Stop doing it. We really mean it this time. Honest.
Live straws. I bought them, but are they any good? My personal opinion is yes. It's one of the companies that do actually send it out to less privileged companies for them to use and like give it away, and trialed and tested in really bad areas. Don't get the not a live straw. I did a video a while ago where I cut one open. I cut both a live straw open and a cheap Temu version one open, and the difference is dramatic. And don't.
That was a good video.
Yeah, don't put your life in the hands of a £5 saving on Temu. If you're going to get a live straw, get the branded ones. Don't expect to be able to go up to a river and drink casually. You've got to be able to suck a golf ball through a garden hose to actually drink straight from the river. As far as I'm concerned, it's not practical that way. you could definitely use it like you would use a Sawyer Mini and use a filter bag on it and stuff like that. So, anyone else experience with life straws, good or bad?
Good.
No,
I've had no problems.
Yeah, reputable. You get what you pay for. You get what you pay for in that.
Alan, any reason you've got the Grail instead of the life straw?
There's no specific reason other than I've never used the life straw. It definitely works. I know people who have used them and they say they're very good. The Grail is simply just a better form factor, so it's more practical for what I use because you can actually hold the water like a water bottle in the Grail, whereas I think the life straw. You can actually get life straw water bottles now. I believe it used to be the case that it was literally just a straw, but now you can get water bottles. But you won't get as much of a lifespan out of it as you would with a Grail, the activated carbon. I'm pretty sure life straws, though, they do use, I think they use hollow fiber filtration, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they do. Yes.
So that tends to be a little bit less efficient, in my opinion, than your activated carbon type purifiers for chemicals. And viruses are basically the same, but the chemical side of it, like VOCs, you really only get that from things like the Grail, whereas you won't get that from the hollow fiber ones.
Yeah, and as a comparison between the two cheap ones that I cut apart, they had them the fibers in there doing it the same sort of way, but it was about 80% less in the cheap version. So you could have dropped a stone through it practically. So yeah, just make sure you go for the branded. Water is one prep. I know it's expensive for some things. I would not cheap out on because it's the one that could really kill you.
Yeah.
Wise words.
New UK war book coming, courtesy of our lovely government. Thoughts? I saw the headline on this. I'm going to have to see if I can find any details and do a video about it soon. John, what's the skinny? Can't tell us. He's not talking.
I don't want to talk about it. It's emotional. I do genuinely have to be careful what I say here. Because of my employment status, I want to keep it as employed.
Mate, don't take the risk then. There's no point.
We can just talk and speculate, and you can pull faces accordingly. For me, it's going to be a carbon copy of another one of the preparedness books. It's going to be Too Little, Too Late, and it's going to be all about. It's not actually a war book. It's going to be about just general emergency, general preparedness, and they're probably going to do the same 3 days worth of this and 3 days worth of that. I'd love to be proved wrong, but I feel like it'll be a drop in the ocean, and it feels like something most of Europe did 6 or 7 months ago. Brian, what's your opinion? I mean, look, it's nice the government are actually starting to do something, right?
Yeah, but they're not though. That's the problem. They're not actually doing anything. They committed to upping to 5% for NATO and haven't done it. They've committed to improving the armed forces and haven't done it. So that'd be like me coming in tonight and saying, oh, do you know, I'm going to go and buy X amount of prepping stuff, and then never actually doing it. So they can print out as many pretty leaflets as they like, and then float it out under the radar like they did the last time. It was very muted when it was done. It was in some of the media for 2 or 3 days. We seen some uptake on the prepping channels, and then it was all forgotten about. So words mean absolutely nothing to me from the government until I see production. Unless I see ammunition factories starting up, steel factories producing, training schools open for the military, recruitment starting, decent contracts and covenants with the military. Until I see any of that, nothing is worthless. It's absolute pish.
Yeah. Alan, your thoughts? Surely getting the nation a bit more prepared is better than nothing, right?
Do you know, I'm kind of on the fence about these kind of pamphlets and books. When Sweden released its yellow one not that long ago, I downloaded a copy of it and I read through it, and you know, there was nothing in there that apart from a few of the specific numbers, there was nothing in there I didn't already know. But you know, that's because I'm kind of interested in the subject. I think for the average person, you could argue that it's worth having something as opposed to nothing, even if they take it, don't read it, put it on a shelf, and then if an emergency happens, they can at least go to the one book that they have on the subject You know, they're not going to have a bookshelf like we have, you know, extensively talking about it. That's the one book they're going to have. And if they skim through it and find something useful in there, then it's worthwhile in that sense. But like Brian says, it'll probably be a waste of money, because they'll spend a ton of money on it. It won't actually be that good. So I don't really know what to think about it, to be honest. I haven't seen the article, so I don't really know anything about it, but I imagine that's what it is. It's the same as the pamphlets that they're passing out in Sweden and things like that.
Do you know why I'm cynical, Alan? And I don't want to be, and I don't take any pleasure out of it. This is the thing. It fucks me off, excuse the language. It really does, because if it was actually worthwhile, they would question the government. Okay, so you're telling us we need to do this, this, and this because of all this big, scary shit that's coming down the road. What are you going to do about it, and what are you doing to help us? They don't want those questions coming back to them. So it'll be toned down, it'll be wishy-washy, and it'll be shite.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to have a read of it and see their perspective on it. I suspect it's going to be a carbon copy of the ones we see in Europe.
First thing I'm going to scroll to the back and see if it says written by John somebody. I'm going to be like,
No, because if I wrote it, it'd be good, Mike.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So thanks. That's all we needed to know from you, John. It's going to be shit.
You may think that. I couldn't possibly comment.
Excellent. Yeah, I think that's when we're on the same sort of consensus there. Thank you for the question, Wishful Bumblebee.
Do you know what they should do rather than waste money writing some crappy booklet? Buy everybody a copy of John Lofty Wiseman's SES Survival Handbook and just bloody hand it out.
No,
just
that's
give it out
a terrible
to
idea. That is a terrible. Like, can you imagine all them idiots trying to set up traps in the back garden? There'll be cats and squirrels and rats running around all over the place.
Do you know he did an urban survival version as well? He did an urban one. I've got it on the bookshelf. It's pretty good. That's a far better book, and it would actually save the government money because you can buy that book for like 10 quid or something. I'm sure they could buy that.
I mean, yeah, but there's stuff in there.
That's in the Discord for free.
Public. They don't forget. They don't want us. Their advice is don't use candles in a blackout because you'll burn yourself to death. This is the mentality they're aiming at. Give them Lofty's book, and people are going to be, I don't know, garrotting themselves in the streets or something. I have no idea.
Can one of the moderators check? I think that Urban Survival Lofty book is in the Discord library.
Could be too. I might. Well, use talk. I might see if I can
usually
see the title.
If you don't know, by the way, during the live, usually after the live, Miss Worm will, any books we've mentioned or so much, she'll put links to them that go through her affiliation. So make sure you use them, and it helps her channel out as well.
Shall I ask the Scottish government to use your affiliate link to buy the 3 million copies of Lofty Wiseman's book, Mike?
That would be really handy, John.
I'll see what I can do.
Fuck my work up.
No promises.
I say that 3 million affiliate links is probably 3 million half pennies. So what does that come to? I don't know.
It's worth having.
It's worth having. It's worth not.
That's
not
all we
having.
need to know.
Country Trumpkin. I've just read that.
Here's the urban one. Here's the wilderness one. So very similar looking books. There might be updated copies nowadays, but this is the urban version.
Do you know what? I'm ashamed to say I've never seen or heard of the urban one, so that is going to go on my list.
Fantastic book. It's very prepper orientated.
Is the first section about sort of self-defense, basic self-defense? Because if it is, I've seen it on Discord, definitely. Oh, can't see. Safety for maybe not. Someone will tell us.
Yeah, good books.
I've just found a copy of it on Amazon. It's unknown binding, £91.84. You can bite me.
91 quid. I didn't pay that for it.
It
says $12.99 on the back, but to be honest, I probably got this when it came out, so it's pretty.
I'll have to find a version. A version.
Yeah, I think I need one.
Look at the state of this one.
I think I need one of those.
literally falling apart.
You don't take care of your books. Look at that. That's shocking.
No, that's well used. That is.
Right. Wishful Bumblebee for John. Do you have a bugging room planned for your new home yet?
Yes.
Is that? Are you going to leave us on just yes? That's it.
It was a direct question, so I answered it. Ask a better question. No, sorry. Yes, I do. But at the moment, I am just doing all the sort of layered defense stuff. I'm putting some bolts in, some dead bolts. I'm putting the film on the windows because it got quite a big, got some quite big windows on the ground floor. Just doing basic layered security stuff at the moment. I have got my store sorted out now, which has a certain level of disguise on it, just in case the government comes knocking. They're not going to come knocking, but just in case they do. And I do have my eye on a particular room in the middle of the house on the first floor, which would be my bug-in room. Sorry.
If the government comes knocking, they're not the government.
No, they're not. No, absolutely.
Thank you, Wishful Bumblebee.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
A massive humanitarian disaster is looming with mass exodus of starving people leaving the area.
Manchester.
That's yeah, probably. Question for John.
Yeah.
So the MOD have said again the UK must prepare for war, including military and civil infrastructure. Are they going to include farming and fossil fuels so we can be self-sufficient?
I'm just trying to work out the question.
I think a part of the plan, are they going to start drilling again and letting our farmers make food?
Yeah, so I don't have to be careful, but I just have to pick my words carefully. The National Emergency Plan for Fuel is being reviewed at the moment, and that isn't just because of the current crisis. It has something to do with it, but it is routinely reviewed every couple of years. And the list of Cat 1 and 2 responders is also being reviewed. And their consideration is being made for extending like a sort of a Cat 3 responder, if you like, which farm vehicles will be included. The problem with that is as we know, farming is across the length and breadth of the country, and it's just not known the scale of what a Cat 3 adding the farm vehicles to a sort of a Cat 3 responder type list would be. The fossil fuel thing, the current government's stated policy is that they do not want to open up any more oil fields in the North Sea.
Just say what you really want to, John, in the green room chat, and we'll translate it for you. Just like, yeah, Starmer's a twat. The government have got no plan. They don't care about farmers, and no, they're not going to start the oil fields because they're a bunch of Marxist dicks.
That everything he said is brilliant.
There you go. Translated for you.
I'm starting to squirm now.
Took the words right.
Not John's opinion, my opinion.
And that's when John get fired. How much does a trolley boy in Tesco earn these days? I'm just wondering.
Probably more than me.
Jobs I've applied. He said no. I have a challenge for you all. All of you to live off World War II rations for 1 week. Sorry, Brian, Pepsi's not available. Once I'm off keto, I will take you up on that challenge, and we will.
Yeah, I'd take you up on that challenge. That'd be interesting.
Wasn't it all corned beef and stuff? Anyway, it was actually
corned beef, from America. Yeah,
a little bit of chocolate and things. I've never seen one in real life.
Was it like 1 egg per person per week?
I've got a ration book. I got it from the museum in Stockport, so I've got a ration book, so we can.
A true story. My grandfather was a Lancaster bomber pilot, sergeant, captain, and he had some minor misdemeanor in the air, and he got a kangaroo court-martial by a squadron, and his fine was his orange, which was quite significant because he got 1 orange a month.
Bastards!
Wow,
I know.
Took my orange. Shocking.
Fun fact.
My gran did tell me that when she was very young, her and her sister were given bananas, and it was a big deal because apparently that was something that was like very hard to come by, even at their age. She was born during the war; it was happening, so she would have been like 4 or 5 years old, but she'd never actually really had a banana before. And it was a big deal when her dad came in with them.
Nice. What's the fun fact, Brian, that you're going to ruin us with Pepsi?
I'm not. Well, it just so happens that Pepsi was widely available and used during the war on a piece of literature. Looks like I just typed in the chat box there, but
You
it's
lying
totally
shit.
legit.
Probably,
So-
it was
You're
probably
lying
invented by the
shit.
Nazis. Was it a Nazi invention?
Did it have bromide in it, Brian?
Well, do you know, they got some things wrong, I'll grant you that, Alan, but you know, every now and again a little nugget comes out.
And that was the worst of them. That was the worst of them.
Tell you, I've got to work with some assholes here, honestly. You just don't appreciate culture.
I guess
I'm drinking a foreign beer. This is from Italy. You know?
that's it. It's surrendering to you. I guess dehydrated meals are best in a ground store cache. Will hydrated meals freeze?
Yes.
No.
No.
Dehydrated meals.
Hydrated meals freeze.
No, hydrated
yeah.
meals. Will they freeze?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't think they would. Depends how insulated the box is and how deep you bury it. It's quite a regulated temperature when you get so far down.
Yeah, you got to go down about 6 to 8 feet, though.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
explore across
when
link.
do we get that cold? I mean, I'm talking not Scotland. You can ignore these two idiots. It's icy in June there.
To be honest, I didn't really read the ground store part. It would be quite difficult to freeze even just a couple of feet down because it's insulated down there. But they freeze if they're out, if they're in your backpack or something. Because I've froze them solid before. Yeah, it probably wouldn't freeze if you buried it.
Yeah, that was my thinking as well. But I mean, you've got to think. Just plan out what you're doing with this. If you're caching something for a journey, do you want to stop on this journey and pick up 20 wet ration packs that are going to weigh you down, or do you want to pick up 20 freeze-dried, weighs nothing meals? But then you've got to think about water as well. So chicken and egg, but yeah.
And also 20 freeze-dried meals is quite expensive.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate thing at the moment. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I need a freeze dryer.
You do. We keep telling you. If you have a suspended timber floor, put it under. Should have plenty of airflow to regulate temperature and safe from raiders. Very good.
Good idea.
But watch out for the rodents.
Yeah,
That's the one. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, watch for
maybe a steel-lined box.
Yeah. There's loads of little tricks like that. I've done the kickboard ones in the kitchen and trays of food under there. So there's all sorts of little gifts. Thank you for that one. It's a good one. Thanks for reminding me to get more foil wrapped cheese for my stash of MREs, rum, and Taylor's Old 20 Tawny Port. I think I'll get some quints too. There's no point in prepping with food you don't like. There you go. Don't you think this Q&A highlights the biggest worry for most people is no power?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I joke that like all the questions are power related, but it's one of those things I think you can't as easily remedy as going to Aldi and spending an extra 20 quid on tinned food or a couple of bags of pasta and stuff like that. It's a significant investment if you're looking at trying to preserve power and stuff like that. And rightly so. I mean, Brian, I've always thought about CMEs as a threat to the grid.
Yeah.
So I've always kind of had power planning on my mind, but that's by nowhere near the most likely scenario. Why are people so worried about it? Why should people be so worried about power?
The lifeblood of a modern society is the grid. You walk about with a box in your pocket that you have a panic attack if it doesn't work, i.e. your mobile phone. It's got your banking, all your contacts on it. I couldn't even tell you anybody's phone number on my phone. I've no idea. So that's just one example of how tied we are to tech. If you lost your electricity supply within very short order, things would go to hell in a handbasket. And whether we want to accept it or not, most of us simply don't have the skills to survive without it easily. Now, people that have got an interest in prepping could say, well, I would be okay, I would do this, I would do that. Things break, your body breaks, your kit breaks down. everything breaks down. Electricity and mechanical advantage allowed society to evolve because you had more leisure time to build, to think, to make. If you don't have mechanical advantage, you don't have power, then you're back to grunting it out with hands, short life expectancy, and hard work, and dependent on seasons and everything else. It's a big thing. It's a big thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big effect, but more so, we're on a slippery slope towards the effects of the power grid, right? With relying on renewables and stuff like that. So the likelihood is much higher than it used to be.
Can I just make a point here? If anyone thinks that by having a solar array and a power bank, they're going to have unlimited communication and Wi-Fi, you need to think again. The average backup power on a mobile transmitter mast is 4 hours. The major ones have a diesel generator. That's probably going to go 16 to 18 hours, but it's not getting refilled after that.
If there's any diesel left.
Right, because the government will requisition it all, and it'll get sent to first and second responders, as we've already discussed. So you need to think about. I absolutely agree that electrical power is something a prepper should seriously think about, but it's for things that are going to sustain you and make your life a bit easier, like lighting. And things like that. It's not to keep your mobile phone running, because there won't be any signal after about 12 hours.
It's not just that. I mean, it's the entirety of our infrastructure now relies on electricity. We simply don't have. It's not like a lot of people say, well, we went perfectly fine for centuries, thousands of years without electricity. It was like, yes, but we didn't live in a society that was based on the infrastructure of the electrical grid. So hospitals run entirely on power. I tell you what, all the ports where we get all of our supplies in the UK, it's impossible to bring the shipments of the goods in, the containers, without electricity. There's no mechanism for bringing in containers without electricity. I know that for a fact. A lot of the logistical infrastructure simply doesn't work without an electrical basis for how that works. And our houses are all, this is a relatively old house. This house was built in 1935 and it has an old fireplace. Almost every house after 1950, 1960, they started doing away with fireplaces and they relied on central heating, whether that be gas or electric. The second you turn off the heating in this house, it's bloody freezing, because that's kind of just the way it was made. And you wouldn't easily be able to retrofit this with, well, you might with this because I've got a chimney, but a lot of houses you wouldn't be able to retrofit so that it could run off something that wasn't electrically powered, including the gas supplies. Your gas isn't going to work without electricity anyway. I can't imagine a world where there's no electricity like Mad Max, but we could be in the very near future heading for like deliberate power blockages and outages for periods of time.
Rotating, what are they called?
Rotor disconnections.
Rotor disconnections.
That's a very real possibility. Very real possibility.
There's my mobile phone.
It's coming.
Yeah.
For a blackout.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
I have a similar book. I mean, we could literally spend every fireside and a day during the week talking about power, why it's a problem and ways to mitigate it. That is the appetite that's out there. And I get that. I do get that, understand that, because we know, or should know, how bad things would be without it. But please put it in perspective. The chances of a long-term, if you had a bad power disconnect, and I'm talking longer than a week, the country's pretty much fucked, right? That's, if you've got a countrywide power down for more than a week, you can pretty much hang up the coat. That's it, it's done. We're smoked. And I know that sounds ridiculous, a week, but you think a week of nobody knows what's going on, no coordination, it doesn't bear thinking about. A week, you would have big problems. And the longer the disconnect is, and depending on the manner of disconnect, the harder it will be to do a black start. But prep for small, short duration power failures. Everybody can do that. And I'm talking like a small power bank that size for about 10, 15 quid and a roll of USB strip lights. That's your starting point. It's no spanking 20 grand on solar panels and batteries. don't get me wrong. If you've got the 20 grand, I'd spend it and have. But you don't have to. Start off with something to give you a basic level of light and some way to charge a radio or your mobile phone for short term, the most likely things that are going to happen in the near future. But don't take that me saying that I don't think there's going to be power grid problems. There bloody well is, and they're coming within the next 2 to 5 years, tops, without any external factors. Sorry, I don't mean to hog the chat there.
No, absolutely fine. He's right. It does highlight a lot of people's concerns, because I think it is, like I say, it's the hardest thing to mitigate against, that we are so reliant on. So easy to buy, spend an extra $5 on food. You can't spend an extra $5 and power your house, unfortunately.
Sorry, Al, on you go.
I was just going to say, if anybody gets a chance, there's some good articles just now coming out of what is it? Al Jazeera News about the power grid collapse in Gaza and how people there are coping with it, because their grid has been pretty much decimated. So generator power has been getting used pretty much the entirety of the last year in Gaza. And Al Jazeera did a couple of articles, I was reading them a couple of weeks ago, where it was first-hand accounts of how people are coping with it and what they're doing. It's very, very interesting. If I can find a link, I'll put the link in the chat or something.
Combine that with the fuel shortage. Imagine.
And if anyone watching is interested, have a look at the 2021 Texas power cut. 10 days in the middle of winter.
That's a good one.
Really good one. Really good for there's some really good social behavior there. But what is interesting is that 200 people, 246, I think, died as a direct result of the power outage, and another 500 people died from carbon monoxide poisoning from lighting their barbecue in their house.
Yeah,
and I'm sure there was more with trips and falls and fires as well.
When was the last time? Was it the 70s the UK last had rolling blackouts with the?
Yeah, I just about remember them. I was like a 5-year-old, I think, 4 or 5
way before my time. Don't remember any of it.
That was a loaded question, John. We were set up there. You bastard.
If you're on this side, you don't remember. This side, you don't remember it. On that side, they remember it.
I jumped in with all fingers there, Brian. Jumped in with all my fingers.
See if you've got all your food, all your water filtration, all the basics done, then worry about Gucci stuff. And by that I mean get a small power bank for under 200 quid like that. It'll do a bit of everything for a little while. That's your starting point. That's basically
I got the other one version of that, and it's been brilliant, to be fair. So stag chili is the best prep. There you go. It's official. Thank you, modern.
I've never tried it.
You never tried it?
You've never tried stag chili?
Do you know what?
I've never tried chili at all.
What?
I've never tried chili in my life. I've never eaten chili of any kind. I don't even know what it tastes like.
Scottish pepper meat.
So bizarre.
Anyway, let's carry on.
That's cruel.
Weirdly enough, I was eating stag chili yesterday. Dynamite stag chili. I eat it with pasta. I don't like rice really with chili. I eat it with pasta, and it had a bone in it. It's the first time I've ever found a bone in a tin before.
Yeah,
that was a bit gross, but
nice. Bit of marrow.
So, what does it taste like? Out interest.
Tastes like spicy spaghetti bolognese with kidney beans.
Kidney beans. Yeah.
The only difference is kidney beans, really.
Right. Okay. So it's like spag bol with kidney beans.
Yeah.
It's like a spicy.
Kidney beans seems to be a very British thing, though. I went to when I went to Texas. I went to a few places that did chili. A lot of places put cheese and chili on everything. Don't order the ice cream, but like I had chips or a hot dog with cheese and chili on, and they didn't have kidney beans.
Yeah, they use five beans, don't they?
Well, and my stepdad, who was a very big American fan as well, he put baked beans in his, which was really nice. I don't like kidney beans. That's what I do with mine now. So, but anyway,
I'll need to try it.
We're gonna have to make chili at the Scottish prep meet, aren't we? There we go. Brian, on the Afiri P280 has the two XT90 solar input plugs. Can you use one battery to feed two XT90 into the P280 for double charge? Just had a stroke trying to read that.
People, this is just made up. This
What?
isn't even a real
Yeah,
thing.
it's
Is it?
just may as well be speaking Swahili.
So what you do is you get the R2D2 and the C3PO, right? And then you
Put one
I'm
behind
trying
the
to read
other.
that off a phone screen and make sense of it. Yeah, it's
It's
got two solar inputs, right?
yeah. Can you use the one battery to feed two XC90s into the P280
Yes.
for double charge?
So what you're talking about is using a slave battery, not one that plugs into it normally, and putting some terminals on it, and then an XT90 connector on it, and plugging it into both MPPT ports. Yes, you can do that.
There you go.
That'll just drain the
Thank
battery
you.
quicker. But yeah,
Thank you, ES Trading. What if a Chinese tanker hits a mine?
Oh, interesting. Black Swan event. Nice.
Oh, probably
that'll go
sink.
boom.
Yeah.
Actually, a Chinese tanker hitting a mine probably wouldn't be much of an issue because it's an Iranian mine and Iran and Chinese are allies, so they'd probably just cover it over and call it a terrible accident. But I do find it interesting that they're asking captains of these big, really, really slow-moving vehicles filled with the most volatile thing known to man to go through a most contested waterway in the world. I wouldn't want to do it.
No, I wouldn't be sailing that ship.
The insurance companies won't let them.
No, they won't want to.
Oh,
Orban has conceded power. Does this
Oh.
change anything in Ukraine?
yes.
How, John?
It changes a lot. The guy, candidate who was opposing Orban is very pro-Europe. Orban has been a thorn in Europe's side for 16 years, I think it is. He basically votes no to everything until they give him concessions, including cash, which strangely disappears, allegedly. So the new guy is very pro-European. He will vote through anything Europe says because he wants to ingratiate themselves with him, and he's pro-European anyway. The issue with the oil pipeline that Hungary had with Ukraine will suddenly disappear. And I foresee Ukraine will suddenly get a lot more funding from the EU because Orban is not opposing it. That's my take.
Yep.
Excellent.
I just made that
Well,
up. Off the top of my head.
Interesting times. There we go.
All true. I agree with all that.
That's fine. Super chat. I have more dollars than pounds and worth of weight in ammo. Glad to see some like-minded people across the pond. God bless. Carry on. That is a $5 super chat on one of your two channels. Never
not
on
me.
my channel. Never. Oh, it's you, Alan. Alan. Got a super chat.
Get in,
Yay!
Alan.
Oh, super chat.
That's it.
That's
That's
what, like
it.
£3.80.
You're all someone may as well post John a $5, so I literally get nothing in this year.
I'll send you something from my cut. By the time it gets to you, it'll be about 30 pence.
I need to get one of these YouTube channels.
No, you
Oh,
don't.
yeah, 'cause we make a fortune.
I'm already getting stripped of everything. You know, my kids won't eat tonight because of Alan and Brian. Just so you know,
They don't deserve it. They don't deserve to eat.
questions in capitals, please. Give Mike a chance to see them. Thank you for the reminder there, Mel. I clicked on that because it was capitals. That was stupid.
That was about an hour ago.
I listen. This is another point. I'm 84 behind the live chat. I highlight the questions and go through them systematically. You don't have to repeat your question. I saw people put a couple in twice. We will get through them. We're trying to churn through as many as we can. The super chats will be bumped to the top, like the $5 one. But other than that, we've just got to persevere. Do we think the Saudi oil pipeline reopening will alleviate the issues?
Slightly.
Not to any great extent, no.
Oh, it's not going to do much.
No. No.
You're talking an 18-inch pipe instead of a massive super tanker.
Yeah.
It will improve it marginally.
Right, there you go. It's not going to do massive effects. M20 to Dover has a lot of overnight closures recently, which they do before Operation Stack. I wonder if they expect logistic impacts soon. Thoughts? Says Modern Skeptic. Any thoughts on that?
I don't know enough about it to give you an answer. If I'm being honest, that's a John question.
So expect logistic impacts. I assume that's related to fuel issues. My brother-in-law works for a major oil company in the UK, and he says they're sloshing with fuel. They've got more fuel. They're trying to get rid of it. There's not a fuel supply issue. There's a fuel price issue at the moment. The continuation of the Middle East conflict or special operation, whatever you want to call it, will start to have an impact. But most of our petro products come from Norway and America. So I don't know. I don't know if Operation Stack is going to be put on for some other reason. I do know that I think the French air traffic controllers are going to go out and strike soon. So maybe the dock workers are going to go out in sympathy, because that's what the French do.
Right. Okay. Interesting. We will wait and see with that one. A few weeks ago, I asked about UK conscription. You didn't think it would happen. Has your opinion changed? Do you think we will be at war some point in the near future? Dominic Moore. Conscription, no, technically. I think if they're going to do anything, they might attempt to do what Sunak tried before he left, which was introduce a form of national service. But that would again be based on, you're not going into further education, so you will do a year or 2 years national service, so on and so forth, which I'm not opposed to. I'm not opposed to the training side of things and having people more prepared. I wouldn't want to send them, young recruits who are in overseas after 6 months or anything like that. But national service as a concept, I'm quite behind. I don't think conscription will ever come in. And as we know right now, you're not going to have uniforms, you're not going to have weapons, you're not going to have ammunition, you're not going to have the logistics. If you suddenly had a great recruitment drive and everyone suddenly signed up for the military tomorrow, you'd be wearing your own clothes and you'd be taking your own pitchfork to defend the country, because there's nothing there. Anyone got any input on this one?
You're right, though. Everything you said's right. Sorry, John, on you go, mate.
No, on you go.
We don't make gunpowder in any great quantity, or primers, or anything else. Guns, barrels, ships, fuel for the ships, steel to make the ships or the tanks. We went from being an industrial powerhouse to pretty much the only thing we import these days in any great quantity is people, and they shouldn't be here anyway.
Sorry, £5 towards for some plasters, £5 to feed the kids, and £2 towards the next boo-boo. Thank you, guys.
Thank fuck you. Stop moaning now. Whoever said it, thank you.
Fuck for that.
God, my ears were bleeding. Jesus. Look at the wee face, he's all happy now.
I need a bucket to catch all the purple piss that's pumping out my heart for you, Mike.
Listen, we all can't live the champagne caviar lifestyle like you have, John. Sorry.
Hey, should have tried harder at school, Mike. Should have tried harder at school.
Just school? What was that? Just scrolling through, trying not to miss any. There's loads.
Can I just put my view for that last question? Yeah. I don't see conscription coming unless they're at Calais boarding the ships sort of thing scenario, a defense of the homeland. We are already at war. We have RAF fighters shooting down things every day. It just doesn't get reported. The Royal Navy, when their ship is serviceable, are defending against incoming threats. It's just not reported. The national servicing, I agree with you, Mike. I think there's a couple of generations who have not benefited from national service, because the people I've spoken to who have had national service say that instilled a little bit of discipline in them, a little bit of pride in their parents, and all the other things that in my humble opinion, as a middle-aged man, think is missing these days. So there you go. That's my 10 pence.
I don't think conscription is likely. I think, like John says, we are at war already. I think we always have been at war. I don't think you're never not at war. There's always a Cold War somewhere in the background. Although, unlike Mike and John, I actually don't agree with national service. I don't think that's a good idea, because it costs a lot of money and you also end up having a lot of people being forced to do something that they otherwise have got no interest in. So it just becomes a waste of time anyway.
People have been getting married for years.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea in places that are under imminent threat, such as Israel. But for the UK, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it would make any difference whatsoever to people's general discipline and things like that. You should invest that money into better R&D, officer training, and the MOD generally, rather than just wasting time training civvies who are just trying to get through it like a prison sentence, and then they'll just do nothing after it. Or worse, they'll just bitch and complain and say, "Oh, I'm whatever sort of group, and I'm against violence," and that's what happens when you try and force people to do something.
Oh yeah, yeah. Every mental health condition under the sun will come out.
Yeah.
That's one of the great strengths of the UK force, is it's a volunteer force.
Exactly.
Yes.
See, to be honest, morally, I'm against the state forcing people to join the armed forces. That's just me personally, though. I'm very against the state forcing people to do anything.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, World War II, before they had to conscript, there was a mass surge of volunteers anyway, because people just want to do the right thing in them situations.
That's imminent threat. If it's imminent like that, then yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Mike, stack your internal doors against the wall. We will all be fine. There you go. Okay. They have said that it will base off a mix of COVID-19, Ukraine war, and cold old plan in one. Which one of the lessons to learn from? Which one is the lesson to learn from? They have said that it will based on a mix of COVID-19, Ukraine war, and cold war. Cold war plan. Yeah, plan. Right. So we're talking about the leaflet, right?
Right. I got it now. Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably going to be closer to the COVID-19 thing, because it's just going to be a lot of piffle. They're not going to do a Cold War plan. They can't do a Cold War plan because we've no shelters. We've nothing like that. And all you're going to do is scare the nation, or it's going to be like protect and survive. Lean your doors up, off you go.
It will be interesting to see what kind of pandemic preparedness information they put in there, because I've always believed that a pandemic is a genuine thing that you should prepare for anyway, because that is a genuine thing that could be perilous to the human race or society. It happens time and time again. But the C-19 thing, to my mind and to a lot of other people's mind, was 10% pandemic and 90% propaganda and bullshit and control. So it'll be interesting to see if they add that to it.
Worse, it damaged people's perception. So next time they try and tell you to do something for your own good, you won't believe them.
The pride wolf.
The hesitancy now will be immense. Even with me, I mean, I was caught out with the C-19 thing as well. I acted in a way that I believed was the logical, sensible thing to do. I generally believed the institutions. I believed what the government was saying. I took 2 jabs. I genuinely thought, and then sort of just a couple of weeks after I got the second jab, I started realizing, wait a minute, this doesn't actually make sense. The mask thing, and how does me getting jabbed affect somebody not getting jabbed, and it didn't make any sense. And then as times went on, I've done a lot more digging into it. I've realized I was hoodwinked like everybody else, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So if I was to be told there was another, I mean, the thing is, imagine there's a pandemic where it genuinely is bad, where let's say every time somebody gets the virus,
got you covered, boys.
We've all toilet roll and masks stashed away. Let's imagine there's another pandemic in the near future that genuinely does kill 80% of the people that is caught by it, and everybody's just like, oh, I'm not believing you. It's bullshit. I'm going to stay away. Millions of people would die because of hesitancy.
That's the biggest tragedy, Alan, that's come out of the whole COVID-19 thing, is the damage and the trust to government institutions. Because we all sat there and watched them on the TV put the fear of God into people.
Then have a party.
And now it turns out half of it was a lot of bollocks. So what do you do? It'll be like that on the day. What do you do? Who do you believe?
Which will cause hesitation amongst everyone.
I think largely, see from what I can see from sort of, especially within our kind of community, the instinct there is to pull down the institutions and disbelieve them. To my mind, what we need is better institutions. We don't need to get rid of the institutions. We just need better, more honest institutions, and we can only do that by holding our politicians to absolute account and forcing them to give us the absolute truth, and not deliberately polish over or make political points of the information they're giving us, because that's what happened, and they openly admit that now. They were giving us information that was based on a political narrative and not the truth. And they just have to be honest. They have to treat us like adults and just tell us what the hell's going on. The state does not have the right to keep things from us.
Pipe dreams, Alan. Pipe dreams. Honest politicians. Pipe dreams.
Now the Welsh Senate passed a law making it illegal for a Welsh politician to lie during the up-and-coming elections. Why they had to pass that law in the first place, I have no idea, but they have.
Yeah. I'll see how much they enforce.
Good luck with that.
I honestly don't believe Nicola Sturgeon during the pandemic in Scotland said a single honest thing. Not a single thing that was honest.
No.
And that's not
Trusting Jimmy Cranky.
That's not just a political thing. I'm no fan of the SNP, but I genuinely just believe everything she said was a lie. Every single word. Yeah. Which is terrible.
Sounds familiar to current times. Do you think this is it? Is this what we've all prepared for? Is it going to spiral out of control onto the streets with mass civil unrest by winter? Says Yamafend. Brian's shaking his head. I'm not as quick to shake my head.
Not mass civil unrest.
We're getting there already.
Just a little bit.
Just hiding the media from it at the moment.
A soup song of unrest.
I think. Yes, it's always what we prepare for, right? If it was a localized flood in your area, it's what you prepared for. So it's always what you prepared for if there's something not quite right. I think the impact, the spiral out of control, this is all just fueling the fire that is already burning in the UK. And there is a fire, I think, burning in the UK. And I'm not talking about, the heart of a lion and fire burning that way. I mean, literally the shit's on fire because the cost of living's unsustainable. It's constantly getting worse. You're throwing in massive energy costs, you're throwing in fuel shortages, you're throwing in the tourist industry is going to take a hit, jobs are going to be lost. I think it is going to at some point spiral out of control, and I think winter could be the ultimate tipping point if we can't get gas reserves back and we have the wrong type of wind rolling through the valleys. And then the power goes out. You imagine already struggling to feed your family. I'm making 1 point, not 2. I know I used the wrong hand here.
This is my strong hand.
Didn't think about that.
Hanson.
It's not only like the cost of living and stuff like that going on. And you're struggling to feed your family. You've lost your job. So you're relying on the state benefits and stuff like that, which is a lucrative business these days, by all accounts. And then, everything else, food shortages, because 50% of what's on our plate comes from Europe, etc., etc. You add blackouts on top of that. Everyone's got a tipping point. Yeah, everyone's got a tipping point.
I agree with that. Nobody
is responsible for their own situation unless you're a prepper. So
yes, I agree with that.
They need somebody to blame. So whether that's storming the local MP's house, whether that's going in the town protesting, whatever they decide to do, not advocating any of it. Disclaimer.
Look what's happening in Ireland.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Look what's happening in Ireland. It's already happening. We're already seeing it. And usually what happens like in Ireland, it could end up spilling over. So I know Brian was shaking his head and stuff, but I'm getting more prepared now than I have been for the last 10 years. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, I don't disagree of local civil breakdown. Like, see what you're saying in Ireland with fuel protests and stuff like that. That obviously does happen and that will happen and it will happen again. The winter we're headed for this year is unique. And if it's a bad winter, it'll be unique for all the wrong reasons. And we touched on this last week more than once, but we're now getting to the perfect storm of a lot of demands on the grid, a lot of maintenance not being done, a lot of fuel supplies we may not get or replenished in time, because we don't know how long this shit show is going to last. And even if it restarts tomorrow, things probably won't be back to working order again, like normality, by October. So I don't know if I'd say we'll have national disorder, but certainly local disorder, like we're seeing. Yes, I would agree with that. But winter this year probably worries me more than any that I can remember in my lifetime.
I tell you what is obvious in just the past year. We live in a far more unpredictable world. We live in a far more dangerous world. So many different things have happened just in the short time that I've been talking to you guys. So many different random crises have happened, and that's not normal. It genuinely is just one thing after another happens.
As if you work with Mike a bit more. So the falling down the stairs, the fires, the floods, the cutting his hand off.
It's like it's happening at a world level.
He found 6 children somewhere.
He's just shaking his head.
Carry on, Alan. Sorry. Sorry about the rude older generation. Carry on, Alan.
It's a dangerous time. It's a time of uncertainty. So for that reason alone, I think there's more reason to be more prepped than at any other time. You know, I definitely am. I'm taking prepping more seriously than I ever have in my life before. You know.
Mm-hmm. I jumped ahead for a second because this is related to it. Pickman, yes. And that is why I'm prepping more than I ever have before. So, yeah.
I think the UK is the proverbial frog in the boiling water, the slowly boiling water. It's so slowly incremental that we won't notice it, and we'll just take it every day, a little bit being chipped away at every day, and then there will be a moment where collectively as a nation we'll just have had enough. I think if the crisis in the Gulf goes on next year, there aren't going to be fertilizers to grow crops, so we could see, I'm not going to say food shortages, but we could see limited supply of some things. You know, I do envisage us having rolling power cuts this winter if the crisis carries on. And with Trump, if Trump doesn't get impeached soon, it's going to carry on.
Yeah.
Brian.
Go, Brian.
See, just for my own interest, we've asked our opinions if we think things are going to be bad, a bad winter this year, or social disorder. We've got hundreds of people in the chat. I would be delighted to know if it's just us think this, or if everybody thinks this is going to be something that's going to happen this winter. Is everybody getting a bad feeling in their stomach looking at what's going on, or is it just us who are a bit more jumpy? What do you guys think?
Hang on.
Michael, do a wee poll.
I'll set up a poll while you two give your opinions, Alan and John. Give me a second.
I've always said as well, the gut feeling is that's a real thing. It's a real thing that you can't be ignoring. That it's a mechanism built into us for survival, and we do all feel that there's something slightly off with what's going on in the world. I feel it. I made a video dedicated just to that very topic because I think it's a lot more common now for people to recognize that and see something is going on that's out of the norm. It's not scaremongering. It's not DX bullshit. I think it's genuinely the case that we all notice something's going on. But the UK, British people as a culture don't generally have like revolutions or anything. We don't all get up on that. The French riot over bloody everything. British people generally don't do that. There's always protesters. You'll get protesters. There's an animal rights protest in Glasgow right now, I think. Right, but that always happens.
Because we're at the right level of fear to be obedient.
Well, that's it. I mean, we are we less free than the French? I mean, that might be the case. It might just be the case that they've got a little bit more freedom, and they exercise that freedom by sticking 2 fingers up to their government whenever they feel their government has overstepped the bounds. Yet in Britain, we seem to just bend over. You know, you only need to take a look at pensions, which is off topic, but you can see the vast difference between how we take a pension increase in age as opposed to what the French would tolerate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't think we will get mass unrest in this country because I don't think we ever have. But we will definitely see something coming, and I think this could be, if it is a bad winter like Brian says, we'll definitely see something out of the norm for what we're used to.
Yeah. Before we get John's opinion on that, I'm going to put the poll up. It's super simple. Will SHTF happen in 2026? Don't type anything along with it. Just type 1 for yes and 2 for no. There's no maybes or don't knows. There's no on the fence. So just type 1 in the chat for yes and 2 in the chat for no. John?
Yeah, I always take an evidence-based approach to any view I form, and the evidence is there. You can try and ignore it. You can say, well, that's just a coincidence, or that's just a one-off. But I think it's already been said by Alan. It's out there. It's happening. It's polycrises. I don't think there's going to be mass. I don't think there's going to be mass civil unrest. When was the last time? Poll tax riots, was it?
No, when Starmer took over, and he cracked down harshly on people and jailed a lot of people for a substantial term for civil unrest. That kind of set a benchmark for civil unrest lately.
Yeah. So I have that feeling in my gut. In summary.
Yeah. Horace said Alan is the gut feeling that stag dynamite chili.
Bloody could be, because I tell you what, I couldn't identify that bone. It definitely didn't come from a cow.
Irritates. £5 super chat. Thank you very much. £5 just to stop Jamiroquai from mourning.
That's a good investment. It's a good investment.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Tell you what, that poll sets a trend, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're seeing lots of ones, lots and lots of ones. Miss Worm's gone for a 2. So's Evil Girl. Our moderators are the most optimistic amongst us. We love you. Collins, split decision. He's gone 12. You only one vote counts. Slim Yin. Yeah. Not 10 in a row. It only counts for 1 per user.
In the chat, Computer Bronstein just made a good point. He said mass civil unrest in Northern Ireland is a summer sport. So, there you go.
Yeah, summer riots are a national sport. There you go. Yeah. But we're seeing that now, right? Yeah.
I don't think they're
It's interesting to get feedback like that, don't you think?
Mike's finger.
That is very interesting feedback. Yeah, absolutely.
Because that gives you a benchmark of the feeling of everybody else. Because we've got people from all over the world in this chat: States, Australia, New Zealand, a lot from the UK.
54 people voted. 44 said yes. 10 said no.
For full disclosure, we do have to bear in mind that we are a target audience where we are predisposed to think this.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So, but that is still very interesting.
Yeah. I have 2 kids I need to prep for. 100%. 100%. Nobody wants to see their own kids.
No better reason to prep than to look after your kids.
Exactly. Nobody wants to see their own family in that situation. What's that? Are the mods more optimistic, or are we actually more pessimistic about what constitutes SHTF? True.
Bit of column A, bit of column B.
Yeah.
It is a very binary question to a very broad sort of topic. So
yeah. I like to keep things simple. But anyway, we'll close that poll off. Thank you for that. 80%. So there we go. It gives you an idea of the feelings. Obviously, like you say, it's a target audience at the moment.
Can we have a column graph next time, please, Mike, rather than a bar graph?
Right to StreamYard.
I like a pie chart. I like a pie.
A pie chart. Alan, I want a pie chart.
I'm already paying them £60 a month for the software, I'm sure they'll take your suggestions.
We want a Fry Bentos, tin pie type chart.
Do you think this is it? Yep. So that was the question. Thank you, Yama Fend. I put it back up. I left it on there so I could thank him for the question. The English Prepper. Do you think having a license for a crossbow by default, once required to own one, it would be easier to be approved for a shotgun license? I don't think it'll make any difference to applying for a shotgun license. It's two very completely different animals. I think if you've gone through certain checks, then you're more likely to pass certain checks, right? They're going to do similar checks. So it's reassurance in a way that if you've got that, if you manage to get a license for a crossbow, then if you apply for a firearm certificate, I'm sure you'll stand in better stead because it'll be the same sort of requirements. But I don't think they will correlate in the same way shotgun doesn't give you section 1. You've got to apply separately. So I think it will remain separate.
If you
people. Sorry, Al.
If you want to have a shotgun in the UK and if you're a UK resident, you don't have a criminal record, you don't have a mental illness of any description or medical history based on mental illness, and you have a legitimate need and a legitimate want, as in you're interested in clay pigeon shooting or foreshore hunting or something of that nature,
you'll get it.
You'll get it, because a shotgun is something that it's for them to tell you why you shouldn't have it, as opposed to you telling them why you should have it. Mm-hmm. It's different for a section 1, where you have to then justify the reason for having that, and you also have to have land in order to go and justify it and all that kind of stuff. So a shotgun's actually quite easy to get if you're a person of good character, is what I'm trying to say. So there's no and you have a place to store it.
There's exceptions to the good character rule, but we won't say or mention any.
How rude. I feel attacked right now. I know a guy that had his section 1 ticket.
How dare you?
When they changed the law in Scotland that you needed to have an air weapon certificate, I know a guy at the section 1 certificate, and when he applied to get the air weapon certificate added onto it, they took his section 1 ticket off him because somebody else reviewed his application.
There you go. Could be shooting himself in the foot.
He ended up with fuck all.
Yeah. Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. Mike, has anyone eaten wild plants, weeds, and are any nice? I've had like a dandelion salad type stuff. Dandelion. And it was horrendous. It wasn't like any salad.
How about dandelion root tea? Yeah, I'll just stick to Yorkshire Gold.
Anyone else? Alan, you're the outdoorsman. What grass are you eating this week?
Do you know what? I've probably tried just about every edible plant you can get in Britain, to be honest. But I'm one of those people who doesn't eat vegetables. So it doesn't matter if it's bloody wild or comes out of a supermarket. To me, they all taste disgusting. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
Is that an allergy? Is that your allergy you mentioned in restaurant, Alan?
Yeah, that's it. Is it green? Don't want it. You know what I mean?
So if it was a Scottish vegetable, though, so if you took a cabbage, covered it in batter and deep fried it, would you then eat it? Yeah,
no, definitely improve the taste. That would improve the taste of it. I mean, to be honest, I am quite partial to wood sorrel. There's a few different wood sorrels in the UK, and they've got a type of apple peel to them, and I do like adding that to foods when I'm out in the wilds. And here's one as well: wilted nettles. For some reason, I actually quite like the taste of them. A lot of people know stinging nettles are edible, and they boil them. That's disgusting. They taste revolting when you boil them. All you need to do is kind of briefly put them on the flame of a fire, and it wilts them and takes away the sting, and you just eat them, and they actually are quite nice. I think it tastes a little bit like flavorless asparagus, which sounds not so good, but if you eat it with like some meat, if you eat it with a steak or something, it's actually quite good.
Oh, there you go.
Steak with your nettle. I can
steak with your nettle. I
could do that.
If you just eat a bowl of nettles, I mean, that's just the same as eating a bowl of, I don't know, bloody broccoli or something. Yeah.
Mrs. Welsh Pepper actually got me to eat some asparagus tonight by wrapping it in ham.
Yeah, that's the way to do
it. So let me get this right. The vegetarians and vegans are taking over supermarket shelves, disguising vegetables as meat. Your missus is doing it at home now.
Yeah, just by wrapping them in meat. I'll eat them then.
John needs to be fed his vegetables the way a dog needs to be fed its worming tablet. Wrapped in a sausage or something.
Listen, it's eat it, John, or it's going up the other end. That's What's your thoughts on Faraday cage to protect from electronics? Brian, what's your experience with Faraday cages?
I actually thought I had Tourette's by the end of making the video. That's how bad. If I had actually released the unedited version, it would have went viral, because it was just a random fat dude swearing 24/7 in a loft trying to make a Faraday cage. So
I'd watch it.
Yes,
I'd watch it on repeat.
Yes, it will protect your electronics, but I call absolute bullshit on people that have made a bin on YouTube, put some cardboard in it, and then it blocks all signals. Right?
Crap.
Haven't actually done that. That's absolute bollocks. I spent so much time blocking radio signals, phone signals, and everything, and walkie-talkies, and proved it. And it's not like they make out. It's not that easy. So there's a lot of bullshit out there. You've got to test each thing that you want to protect. Best way to do it is use a mobile phone, a handheld radio, and a normal FM AM radio. Test each one independently, in it at the time, and make sure it blocks all the signals, because you've lots of different wavelengths going on.
Yeah.
You mean you can't just put it all in a microwave?
No, your phone will work in the microwave. It's a lot of crap. Yeah, your phone will work in the microwave. And plus, if it's a CME, that microwave, if it's still plugged in, is likely to burst into flames and cook your phone. I've got a metal ammunition crate behind here. Brown one. Did a video on it quite a while ago now. And I've seen people saying, "No, you buy these metal crates, and because they're 100% metal, that's it. It's a Faraday cage." Not the case at all. I had to sand and grind away all the paint where the contacts made between the two metals. There was raised surfaces where I had to fill that in and stuff like that. It's a lot of work, but try it and test it. Please don't just think, plastic box, tinfoil, job done. It's
not that easy.
No, it's not that easy. But test. It's the same in any preps, right? Test your preps. So
I did find these RFID phone cases that you can get. They actually do work. I was genuinely surprised at that.
The
it
ones
does block out the signal. It's got like a sort of shiny surface on the inside, and you drop your phone in there. I've tried phoning the phone once it's in there, and it doesn't work. But
I got some one of them, Alan, when I was getting the ones for the Red 64, and the ones I first ordered were way too big. They were the size of a phone, and I tried it, and I was shocked at how well and how easily it worked. The material ones are brilliant like that. Yeah, and they were just cheap ones. They weren't like cost a fortune.
Although saying that, it might cut out the phone signal, but that doesn't necessarily mean the phone is protected from an outside influence. You know, if an EMP took off, I'm pretty sure my phone would still be knackered. You know, maybe. I don't know, but
prep for it all failing, and put stuff in your Faraday cage, and hopefully, if anything works, it's a bonus as far as I'm concerned. John, did you are you building a Faraday room?
No, not a Faraday room. I do have a couple of small Faraday boxes, and I got a couple of pouches, but that's just the pouches for my spare car key, so that it can't be cloned. I got a couple of Faraday boxes. I do question whether I need one, because the only two events was a massive CME or a nuclear explosion.
CME won't affect it.
Okay, there you go. One event, then a nuclear detonation. Have I got bigger issues if there's a nuclear detonation than whether my phone still works? I have got one. I've got one, but I do question whether I need one.
So I mean, the thing with Faraday boxes is, have you got the redundant kits put in it, right? And Faraday cages, because you're not going to leave your phone 24/7 in that. You're not going to get a message going, there's about to be a atmospheric explosion that's going to cause an EMP. It's just going to happen. So the only things in my Faraday box is redundant stuff that I don't use every day. And every so often you've got to open it up and charge them and test them and stuff like that. And hopefully it doesn't hit while you're doing that. But you've got to leave it in there. Don't think I've got a box, and as soon as I know that there's a nuke coming, I'm going to run and throw all my stuff in there. You won't have that warning time 9 times out of 10. And the reason CMEs won't affect it, just in case anyone doesn't know, is it needs a massive aerial to receive the signal. What's going to be affected by that is our huge power lines that are going to act as giant antennas, and it's going to come down into the houses. Your biggest worry with the CME is not your phone going out; it's your house setting on fire. All right, wiring, things like that. So be fire ready for stuff like that. But yep, thank you for Big Jace for that one. Sorry, were you going to say add something there?
No, I was just going to say, folk need to bear in mind as well that there's a lot of variables with EMP. That quite rightly, as John said, what caused it? You do get EMP weapons that don't have the blast and thermal effects as a nuclear detonation, but again, the fallout of that, if you like, for want of a better term, will boil down to the same as a nuke, as in intensity and distance. So if you've got a high energy detonation at height, then it will depend on line of sight and the distance and how much energy is in the wave, and that's never going to change. So there's a lot of variables in it. So everything failing in an EMP isn't really the case. There's so many variables in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's everything is theoretical, right? So it's just a case of, you know, you can only do the best you can. I'm going to have to ask everyone to stop questions now in the chat, unless it's one of the super chat ones, and we might be able to squeeze it in. I've got 16 still starred. We're going to try and get through these as quick as possible. Otherwise, we're going to be here all night, and it's a school night after all. So let's try and quick fire these round. I'll pick somebody for each one. So, John, 5 items to carry every day in your car.
I carry a one of those little pneumatic tire inflators. I carry water. I carry my what do you call it? Not a bug out bag. It's a you know what I mean.
Skin suit.
Have I got to 5 yet? Have I got to? Oh, my ball gag. And is that 5? Sorry, was that too much?
That's enough. Alan, go on quickly on this one.
5 items. So I carry a tire inflator. I've got a puncture repair kit. I've got a weatherproof suit that I can use in climate weather. There's a 12-hour candle in my kit, and the 5th one, what else is in there? I've got a tow rope as well, actually, and I've also got an electric jump start. And I've created a video for this very subject if anybody's interested.
Ooh. There you go. There you go. Thank you, English Prepper. Go and check out his video on that one. Brian, does a house gas supply cut out? So does house gas supply cut out after electricity grid shuts down?
Yes, but that's not your problem. The problem is your boiler will shut down, the igniter will only work, and also your circulation pump for your heating system will only work. Although I'm not telling you how, but there's ways you can get around that.
Yeah,
but
I mean, if
yes,
we're talking gas hobs, you can turn the gas on and light it with a Bic, right? Yeah. The actual pumping of the supply, the actual pressure for that,
depending how many people are drawn from it, seasons, then eventually what's in the pipes will be gone, and then they'll have to purge the pipes once it's gone. So again, like the grid going down, if the gas supply goes down and it's all gone, big problem.
Yeah, and it's a matter of time. Same as the water. Don't forget, the guys, the water pumps require electricity to get that water up your hill to your house. Fill your bath, fill containers, stuff like that as soon as the power goes out, if you expect it to be a long-term thing. Question for John: what info do you have in your prepper binder?
I've got all sorts of stuff in here. I'll just give you the main. These are the main headings.
Power, heat, food processing, water security, CBRN, DIY, communications, weights and measures, miscellaneous, and blank.
I'll try and hold it up for you as best I can, but it's just basically just print offs of all sorts of shit. I've got a bit of radioactive decay there. Water collection manual, treatment manual. I've got a list of medications, what I can use them for. How to skin a rabbit, because I haven't done one for a few years. What's that? Body temperature chart for someone who's got hypothermia.
Nice.
I got all right down to maps of my local area. I've got Chinese and Arabic and German and Spanish alphabets.
No Russian alphabet.
Morse code, Braille, any form of communication, any chart that's going to help me if I can't access the internet.
Is anybody else
Excellent.
getting a Santa vibe there when John's holding that book?
Yeah,
What?
naughty and nice list. There we go.
No, I missed that. What vibe? I'm not insulted. I
Santa.
didn't hear what you said.
I was getting a Santa vibe when you were holding the book there. The only thing you didn't say was ho 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 sitting my knee.
Thank you, Prepper70. You're awesome for your $9.99 super sticker. It's really appreciated.
Do you know, I once created a video. We just talk about skinning the rabbit there. I once made a video of how to skin a rabbit without tools, and you can do it in a oneer, just in one technique. And YouTube banned me for 30 days. It's the only ban I've ever had from YouTube. And I don't know why, because there's loads of people who show that kind of stuff. But yeah, I got banned for that. So it's not there anymore for that reason.
Maybe you should have killed it first was the problem. I think that's maybe where you went wrong.
I don't understand it. And Pets at Home had a real issue with it as well.
Is it in the back of the store?
No,
it probably
was on a farm.
It's not the best video to release at Easter, Alan.
It
That's
was very humane. Weirdly enough, I've got other videos of like preparing a duck and a woodcock and a pheasant and things like that. They're all still there, but for some reason, Fluffy the bunny, didn't YouTube didn't.
You could probably re-upload it. Some wet wipe probably just reported it.
Probably.
I'm curious how many are stocking up on sardines. Seems to be a rage here in the States. So many new recipes. I've tried a few and they were good. I have 2 massive stacks of sardines, which are solely my preps because nobody else in the household eats them. So I love sardines.
I like sardines. I get the ones in olive oil out of Lidl. They're fantastic. I put them on toast.
Yep, sardines on toast. Love sardines on toast.
I got loads of sardines. I like the ones in tomato sauce.
I give them to my dog as well. They're good for your dog. The ones in the make sure you get the ones in olive oil, not the bloody seed oil version.
Not the spicy tomato ones I've got then.
I like them as well. I like them as well, but the olive oil ones are a bit healthier, I think.
Too many bones for me.
They disintegrate. You can actually get boneless sardines now in tins.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
If I get one fish with a bone in it, that's it. It's done. I can't eat it.
Child.
Have you always been a fussy eater, Brian?
Oh yeah, it shows. Yeah, I've always been a fussy eater, John. Can't you tell?
Oh, more soda shit.
The DC XT90 is a solar input bit. ES Trading. Sorry, I'm a woman. LOL. All right. Okay. It wasn't a question. There's a question mark in there. So, is this good time to stock up on Guinness?
Yeah.
It's always a good time to stock up on Guinness. It's liquid bread. How many in your UK military today? 180,000, 182,000 is the official number. I think 72,000 of them are army, active trained personnel. That phrase is very vague. A chef is an active trained personnel. Everyone within the military forces has that basic training. So how many actual deployable troops is questionable, and how much kit we have is questionable.
Not enough is the answer.
Not enough.
I think it's still true that they say there are more policemen in New York than there are regular army soldiers in the UK.
I think the Air Force and Navy are around the same 27, 28,000 each. They're around the same similar sort of numbers.
Yeah, the US Marine Corps, the Marine Corps in the US has more aircraft than the Royal Air Force.
There you go.
Shocking.
Does not surprise me. Does not surprise me. It was always clear NATO was allied, but if Russia was to attack a NATO country, would Trump side with them? Who knows? Who knows? Difficult to tell these days. Difficult to tell these days. Anyone want to weigh in on?
I suppose it would depend on the country. The only one country that I genuinely, as a serious answer, the only one country I think Trump might side with the Russians with would be Turkey.
Yeah. Yeah,
except that America have nuclear weapons in Turkey.
True. It's where their bases are and stuff as well. So that's what they've got to be concerned about. Yeah. Difficult one. Not so sure as a nation. We tend to be good weather rioters. Will people be out on the streets in the cold and pouring rain? No, probably not.
No.
They'll wait for the first nice day and then they'll go and do it. This is why all the marches and stuff there. But if you're cold and wet and hungry in your house, I don't think weather will stop you airing your grievance. So it depends how extreme it is, Grass Monster, I would say, for that one. What are the early signs would tell you something serious is coming? Not media, actual signals.
Everything that's going on right now.
Yeah. But I mean,
the world right now.
What are you looking for to pull the trigger on maxing out the Burton's menswear card and stuff like that?
I don't think that's what they're asking. I think, what early signs would you see something serious is coming? Well, early signs we have been seeing since Ukraine and everything right through. And this year it's just ramped up. Unstable allies, supply disruption, unstable power grid, gas supply problems, war in the Middle East, allies turned on allies, fuel shortages, planes being cancelled. You name it, we've got it. If that's not early signs of something serious is coming, I don't know what is.
Yeah, the government trying to take a stranglehold on certain freedoms, such as taking away juries or the restriction of free speech, or the introduction of laws by stealth, or the removal of the ability to have particular referendums on things. Those are all things that governments do, and they start to feel a little bit of pressure, and they feel they need to get more of a stranglehold on the populace that they're controlling. And we're seeing all of that in the UK.
Yeah. Anything to add on that, John? Signs to look out for?
I think the signs are right in front of us. I genuinely wonder whether in decades to come we'll look back and World War III started in Ukraine. 5 years ago now? Will history show that World War III, we are already in World War III, we just don't know it yet? I'm not trying to scaremonger.
Depends.
Zelensky outright said so. He believes that's the case.
It depends who wins. History is written by the victors, right?
But yeah, in terms of what early signs will tell me something's coming. Yeah, I'm getting the early signs. My early sign radar is pinging all over the place. I think the next escalation will be telling the next black swan, the next whatever will be telling if China or Russia decide that they need to intervene. That's the next escalation for me.
Yeah, China's going to do something.
My preppy senses are tingling, he says. My prepper senses are tingling.
China's never going to get a better time than now, because America's using an immense amount of munitions and using up a lot of airframers and using up a lot of boat engineers and using up a lot of people's hours. Long story short, they've been building for this. If they're ever going to invade Taiwan, it's now. It's like this year. That's my opinion.
Yeah. So the early signs are already there, and the sources are all around us. Many of us don't trust mainstream media, but many of us still watch mainstream media. Usually, the truth is somewhere between the extreme craziness and the outright lies, and usually the truth somewhere in the middle. So just best judgment. There is 4 questions left to go, gentlemen, and I will let you go. Still over 300 people in here. Really appreciate you being here. The best way to support the 3 channels that are here. John does not have a channel, but you can catch up with him on the Discord. But make sure if you're on mine, you go and check out Scottish Prep 73. You go and check out World Survivalist. The moderators have been posting the links in the chats all the time. Best way to support all of our channels is liking, subscribing, watching our content. The guys have monetization on their channels. I've got Patreon as well, which is the best way to support my channel. So we really do appreciate you, and I just wanted to get that out before you all leave at the end when you know it's the last question. Next one. With the world falling apart, have you updated your EDC with extra bits? Yes, a knife that I'll cut my finger off with. So my EDC, many people have seen before, is a huge bunch of keys that is very loud, but it has all sorts of tools on it. Before I've done videos on. I've added this, and now this is literally an EDC. I always used to think, would I have it in my pocket? But I got this awesome case made by a weapon collector who has a YouTube channel as well, and he made that and stamped my name in the top. And inside this is a completely UK legal knife that I got through Amazon. It's still got a bit of my blood on it, as you can see there. Don't try and pry. It's very sharp. Don't try and open a tin of paint with it and pry in the direction where it can close on your finger here, because that's what just happened to me. But
don't show us what you did.
Yeah, genuinely, I never used to carry this. Despite it being an EDC knife, I never used to carry it. The climate the way it is now, this now lives on my belt. Usually I've got a jumper or shirt that covers it. So that is part of my EDC because of current times. Anyone change the EDC or the loadouts at the moment?
Changes by season for me.
Yeah. All right. So it's just basically adding winter items and things.
Yep. I might replace an older item with a newer one or better kit. But basically, other than that, I just replace by season.
Yeah. Yeah. Alan, have you added a bulletproof vest to yours or anything?
No, I mean, to me, an EDC is an everyday carry, something you carry around with you all of the time, and I don't really have something like that. But I've recently just literally created an EDC for a motorcycle, which is just a fancy way of saying a toolkit that can double as a utility pouch for other uses as well. But I carry all of the time whenever I'm on the motorcycle. I posted a picture of it in the Discord, video coming soon on that at some point. But yeah, I took a bit of time to put that together.
Excellent. Excellent. John?
My EDC is pretty refined. It's pretty minimal as well. But well, the one thing I would say is if you don't have an EDC, put one together, watch a few videos, because I literally use mine every day now. It gets me out of the shit nearly every day.
For those worried about stormtroopers, part of that EDC, which was sent to me, which you could easily print yourself, was sent to me by Weapon Collector as well, is this metal keyring that has a 3-inch ruler on it to measure a blade side, and the government guidance on legal carries in the UK.
That's handy.
So that lives in my wallet, and the keyring to measure it is on there. So even if I get pulled over, what's that suspicious pouch on the other side? It's a knife, and here's the laws. So there you go. Always give yourself the best foot forward. Could your house stay warm for 48 hours without gas or electric? Honestly, goes for all 4 of you. What do you have? So I did it. Go and check out. I did a series of videos, 3 videos, 48 hours, no power. The kids and missus left and went and stayed with family. They didn't want to do it, but I did it myself. It was summer. I might do a winter one. I might do a winter version of this one and hopefully not die. But watch out on the channel for that coming soon. But surprisingly, I'm an advocate for older tech when it comes to prepping. Candles in a single room kept it quite well warmed. And I had a tent set up in the front room as well on the second night, and that was much better insulated. Slept in a sleeping bag. Yeah, all good for that. The actual house holding temperature, no, they don't. They simply don't. And it's just the way our houses are built. If it's freezing cold outside and you have 0 heating and 0 ways to warm it, it will soon match the temperature outside. Sometimes it feels colder inside than it does outside. You'll go outside for a warm. Brian, what do you have?
So if the grid went down, the last project was to fit a diesel heater to the home. So I've done that. So I could run the diesel heater as long as I've got diesel. So I've got enough diesel to run that for probably about a month. And that would heat the whole house. I've got enough solar on the roof and batteries to run it electrically. Now that the heat's taken care of, even in winter time, I would have enough to cope with the fridge, freezer, and putting the telly on and lights and stuff. And then there's about 11 kilowatts of backup battery power banks. And then to back up that, there's a generator.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Alan?
I suppose the long answer is yes to an extent, but eventually it would boil down to a room. I would look to heat up a room. But here's the thing, right? See, just this is not a very scientific experiment. I haven't had my heating on in the house that I'm in just now for the past 3 days. I just haven't turned it on. Okay. This room that I'm in just now, I'm in an upstairs room with the door open into a hallway, and those curtains haven't been opened. Those are blackout curtains, so there's no sun getting in. The current outside temperature here, 6 degrees, but the temperature inside this room is 21 degrees. Now, that's because I'm in here. I've got 2 computers on, a couple of lights, and there's a small dog hiding at the back. So there is there's heat being generated, and 21 degrees is pretty warm. I'm in my t-shirt, I'm warm, and the heating hasn't been on here for a couple of days. I think today the temperature was 10 degrees because it was actually kind of windy where I'm living just now. So you can keep a room at least warm just by having a presence in it because you're generating heat. And obviously electrical components do put out some heat as well. The rest of the house, if I was to take a temperature of the rest of the house, I would say the hall is probably a little bit colder. The bathroom will be much colder because the vent is open, but the door's shut. The living room will be colder than this room because it's bigger, but it won't be that cold. It won't be like outside cold. So a house will hold a bit of heat if you have electricity running and people in it and dogs and things like that. But the second if I was to leave this house, turn everything off and go on holiday and come back after a few days, I would be bloody stone cold in here.
Yeah, I've done it. Yeah, definitely. John?
I could not keep my whole house warm for 48 hours without gas or electric. I've just moved. Some people know that. My old house had a coal open fire. That would have been easy. I was similar to you, Mike. I have the means to keep one room really warm, and I have various means of doing that, either with a little buddy heater or electric blanket off a power bank or something like that. So I've got more than one way of keeping warm. I've got one of those pop-up tents that literally take out the bag and it just pops itself up that I would put up in the room. And I have, as a last resort, I have candles.
Yeah. Still no log burner though, Brian.
No log burner.
Not proper preppers, any of us.
I used to have 4 log burners in my house on Skye, but that's long gone.
Is Alan coming to the Scottish meet?
Yes.
Yay!
Good. Preparing the path wants your autograph. No.
Didn't ask me if I'm coming to the Scottish meet.
You don't count.
Oh, thanks.
You're not a YouTuber yet.
Are you coming though? Fair
Yes.
question though. Good,
I am.
good man.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm determined to set up a camping table with a pristine white tablecloth on it, some champagne flutes, and I'm going to invite you guys around for champagne.
I'll bring my cravat.
I'm doing that.
Yeah. Andy's going to be stood just watching from a distance going,
Andy's serving.
If you can manage that, that'll be a trick. Very last question is Nick's LS11. How are people cooking Fray Bento's pies if there's a big long-term power outages? So I did a video the other day. Go and check that out. I used pretty much what's a metal Dutch oven. And I put the pie in there. I put it on top of one of the camping gas stoves and it cooked it, no problems. It was crisp pastry. It was well cooked. It was brilliant, superb. I am going to attempt the same on an outdoor grill and an outdoor fire at some point, and we'll see how that goes as well. But like little Dutch ovens, anything like that, this is a metal one that I've got. I know you can get cast iron ones and stuff. So there's ways and means. So there we go. End on a pie. Right. That's it for this evening. We've done nearly 2 hours and 20 minutes, which is great. We're doing these Q&As so you guys get advice, and I'm well aware that a lot of you won't want to ask questions and you won't want to seem like you're asking a stupid question that everybody's going to know, but genuinely we're not like that. The community's not like that. There's no silly questions. Come and join us on the Discord if you've not managed to ask something tonight or we've not managed to get your question, and everyone's really willing to help, no problems at all. And the moderators will post the links in there as well for Discord. It's well worth joining. The best resource, the best asset that could have come from any of this YouTube venture is that Discord, and it's really worth it. Thank you to the moderators tonight. I've seen loads of you in there, so I appreciate every single one of you. Miss Worm, our chief mod, don't forget, be like Mike, go and buy the book. This is by Miss Worm. She will link that as well. I've not read it yet, but I will get through it, and I will be able to show Brian and all that lot up when I've read it fully. So that is the whole ambition, to read it for that very reason.
We're going to ask you questions on it, mate.
That's fine. I'll have a pop quiz. Not a problem at all. John, any final... Yeah, go on.
Maybe you could do a fireside at the Scottish Preppers meet to talk us through the book.
Well, we will be doing a live fireside at the Scottish meet like we did last time. It was loads of fun. JP was an absolute hero with the tech and getting it all set up, and we'll be even more prepared for it this year. So yes, I'll talk you through the book there as well if we have time for that one. John, any final thoughts on the current state of the world, the current state of prepping, and everything we spoke about tonight, and your goodbyes, please?
No, just look at the evidence, look at the trend, prep within your means, don't go mental, because it might just not happen. But yeah, be wary, be alert. And I don't have a YouTube channel. I have no intention of getting a YouTube channel, although seeing all the thousands of pounds flowing in tonight, I think I might set one up. And thank you for your company tonight, gentlemen, and thank you for everyone who's joined us online.
The thousands of pounds flying in tonight. You ought to go and join like Agenda-Free TV or 2C TV and watch their super chats going ping, 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 ping. We like get a $5.
Who stole Bad Santa's medication?
Yeah, we get like a $5 every 6 months or something.
Book 2 coming soon, Miss Worms. Right, you better read that first book.
Yeah, no, right. Yeah, I need to get the first one done.
Yeah.
Alan, any final thoughts? The state of world, the state of the nation, prepping, etc., and your goodbyes?
I would say it's a good time to be looking to prepare yourself as much as you can, but don't become overwhelmed with the 24-hour news cycle, because I think that has a lot to say about the way a lot of us feel that's not really helping, that 24-hour news cycle. But I would also say skills are free if you can learn them yourself via books and videos. The internet is a fantastic place for learning skills, and YouTube and things like that. Costs absolutely nothing to do that, and that's the best way to prepare yourself, is to prepare your mind, in my opinion. So yeah, and go outside, because that a lot of people just don't do that. I say that all the time, but go for a walk. Start including the outside and nature as part of your daily lifestyle, and it gives you time to think. Even if you're going for a walk in the woods and having to think about what you're going to do with your preps, that's a healthy way of doing it, I think.
Excellent. Don't forget to go and check out Alan's channel at World Survivalist. Loads of cool outdoor stuff, some great talking head stuff with some awesome backgrounds and stuff, and some collaborations with me and Brian, and future collaborations to come on there as well. So make sure you go and subscribe to Alan at the World Survivalist. And Brian, if you can subdue your old man coughing for 5 minutes, do you want to give us any final thoughts and your goodbyes?
Seasoned. I prefer the term seasoned. Don't forget, the only reason we prep is to give you a sense of security and a measure of security physically. You get none of that if you're panicked all the time and you're worried all the time. So life comes first, prepping comes second. Never let the two do that, right? It's your life first. Prepping is only to enhance your life, not to take over it. And with all the shit that's going on in the world, that is all too easy to forget. I don't mean to preach, but it's really easy to go down the rabbit hole and just get caught in this doom spiral and make a lot of mistakes and spend a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely. Jess Pixie asked about the desktop app for Discord. No, you can use iPad, mobiles, anywhere the Discord app is on the App Store. And then you just, once you've got the app, use one of the links or send me a message or comment on one of my videos and ask for a new link, and I will send it you on there and you could join that way. For me, the guys have said it all best they can. Don't go nuts. Don't go too crazy. Keep a close eye on the news, but don't get sucked into it. we've just had an awesome winner on my Patreon who's won a shed load of Gerber gear, nearly 280 quid's worth of stuff for a £5 Patreon membership. And it's the best way to support my channel, doing the firesides, doing all of this. The best way to support that is through Patreon, and memberships start from £5 a month there. And you get exclusive content, including me unfiltered. So all the stuff I can't say on YouTube, I say on there. So go and check that out. If you've got 5 minutes, it'd be really appreciated. Thank you to Miss Worm. Go and check out her channel and all the moderators. And from us, we will see you in another fireside, hopefully really soon. Goodbye.
Later, guys.
Round the fire, warm and bright, stocked up food for the night. Got our plans set in gold for the days when it's cold. Tools and gear stacked up high in the cabin we reside, listening to the winds howl, prepping for the morning's prowl. At the prepper's fireside we stay, ready for that fateful day. Stories shared and hearts alight, round the fire every night.